time to go viral. I'm homicidal, I'm killing all my rivals. I'm the man, shit, I put that on the Bible. Spotify my target, cause you know I got the title. Hey, I'm a Mac too. I told baby shake that ass like she Apple. She said it's real, so she got my name tattooed. House full, so I hit it in the back room. Whoa, baby said she needed now, peep the urgency. I want a little Kim before she had the surgery. Leg spread on that hardcore poster. She love twerking, she just do it for the coach. Big dog, bull massive. 6 tray Chevrolet, I'm classic. All these niggas mad at me, that's tragic. The main bitch in the bed, that's graphic. Yeah, we about to go viral. Hey.
What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal, Viral Gang? We back at y'all with another one. Shout out all the Viral Way members, man. Everybody out there in the Viral Gang. If you're not an official member, hit the subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Leave a like, leave a comment. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. As always, it's your host that do the most, Mr. Viral himself, a.k.a. the villain, because they hate me for my opinion. And as always, I got bro in the building. What's the deal?
LBC Messiah, the great, man. We're going to keep leading the way.
We're here to lead the way, man. Here to wake the sheep that sleep. Go everywhere else for the cap. Come here for the facts. Hey, we got one of them ones for y'all today. I know y'all looking at the couch like, what? What's going on over here, cuz? The homies that went to the dark side. That is sold they soul. I can see the comments now.
Yeah, we already know where it's coming.
Hey, man, we got one of the ones in the building, man. We got Lush 1 in the building.
Come on,
Lush,
man.
what's the deal, bro?
Man, had to tap in on my family fellas. Man.
Hey, Lush, they be playing with you, but they don't know you low-key a legend in the culture, though, man. I got to give you your flowers while you still here to smell them, though.
Appreciate that.
And we got the infamous, the 22-ster. What's the deal, Adam, cuz? What's happening?
Long Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part, man.
You back home or what? Home away from home?
I actually have no idea like what part of Long Beach we're in right now.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I just got off the highway. I wasn't really thinking about it. We were talking very intensely there.
But as soon as we got off the freeway, there's a billboard with an advertisement for a pistol. I've never seen that,
Is that
in
right?
my entire life living in California.
I was wondering about that.
That was crazy. I was like, damn, Long Beach activated right now.
You got to go to like Orange County for that type of stuff. They all about that, Long Beach.
You're going to find them every other corner. Yeah.
But yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about today. Where should we start? We got to start here. We got to start with the crash out. We got to start with the infamous crash out, man. That's the talk of the talk, talk of the town. I just seen y'all up there doing a review to it. I see Suspect doing a review to it. It's going crazy in the Reddit. What's the deal, man? Did you send Suspect to crash out? Because that's the narrative. You know, I be reading y'all Reddit narratives.
That's his own man right there. I didn't tell him to do anything like that. And also, I heard you guys when I was watching Brandon react to it on you guys' pod. It's like, I never have encouraged violence. I don't even like the idea of people going off and fighting outside or whatever, and especially not on the podcast. So by all means, but I got to say that is one of the funniest fucking clips I ever seen in my life. Just, it's like that thing, like that nightmare scenario that you always kind of think about is like where you just go to start a fight with somebody and then you figure out that they're like a Navy SEAL or a jiu-jitsu black belt.
Fucking Green Beret.
I mean, that is just like unbelievable. I don't know. It's like, obviously Suspect has his version of events, but I don't know. Brandon seems like he's pretty insistent that he wants to get a fade out of this.
But this
They
is why
said, they said you was at the window fired up, like set it off.
They said you was
They
back
said
there
want you
like,
to set it off like
I was
yeah.
doing plug talk right across the hall, so I'm hearing like loud noises coming from the other room. And at one point, the cameraman told me like, "Yo, they were about to fight," and I'm like, "God damn it!" Like I can't think of anything that would fuck me being able to film a plug talk episode up more than them getting into a scrap out there. But I'm glad it didn't come to that. But I mean, Suspect was standing there by the door going, "Let's fight, let's go, let's go."
there's an alley right down the street. Follow me.
So y'all feel like Brandon should have stepped outside with that at that point.
I really respect Brandon. I gained a lot of respect from him from watching that because I felt like he just was so nonchalant and so was not bothered at all. And I know like when I was talking to Wack about it, you guys will probably see that in a couple of days. Like Wack was saying like, "Nah, as a gangster, if somebody challenges you to a fight, you got to get down right where you stand." I'm looking at Brandon as like somebody who's so confident in his physical ability that and he's like obviously very concerned with how he's moving around. He wants to be a good representative for his culture and everything. And I think he rightfully assumed that he would get lumped in with, you know, being a fucking stooge basically if he was involved with some fighting outside, no jumper with one of the hosts or whatever. Now, obviously it would have been fucking insane if he had actually just gone outside right then and fought. But I mean, I don't blame him at all because I'm looking at him like me, where it's like, you know, I've came here and I'm saying I'm here to communicate with words, and if you're gonna try to take me out of that and turn this into a physical thing, I'm just not going. Like that's not what I'm here for.
So you wouldn't have liked it if he would have went and pretzeled suspect up, choked him out on the cam, then the clip did millions and millions of views, and y'all reaction did millions and millions of views. You telling me you wouldn't have been hype over that?
You're making it sound cool, right?
I'm just saying.
You're making it sound pretty tempting.
Because he's acting like he's taking a higher role.
Yeah,
this is no jumper, nigga.
Okay.
What are we talking about right now?
I am both a fan
The
of
land
the
of the
content.
crash outs.
I'm a fan of the content, but then I'm also like the person who owns the building who's worried about lawsuits, who's worried about whatever. And also the person who's aware that if that happens, it's like, is it going to go super viral? Yes. Is that really going to benefit me that much? Like, probably not. Because like everybody sees something like Brick crashing out and got that 1 million view clip of him talking about putting kill squads in the street. I could literally go to that clip right now and show you how it made like $40 on YouTube, because any kind of violence, screaming, swear words, whatever, like all that shit gets demonetized super fast. So
that got demonetized, but it drove a lot of traffic to your channel for other clips. Because people who probably don't watch No Jumper, like, oh shit, I'm gonna go watch just because.
Maybe.
Then you interview Brandon. Yeah. That's gonna do 1 million views. Like, come on, like
maybe, but I just feel like typically the way it goes is that like if you have this like extreme outlier situation that's not really indicative of what's normally going on, like everybody who sees that is gonna know it's not like there's fighting going on every day. So I feel like, yeah, maybe it drives some people to the channel, but ultimately I don't really think it's worth it.
He like on camera, nigga, I can't say.
Yeah, right. Behind the scenes.
Gotta protect the brand,
yeah. Start crashing up.
Nah, for sure. Because one of the other narratives I heard was the same thing. Like, either you sent suspect to spaz on him, or Flacco sent Brandon to entice him that way, knowing he'd be triggered.
But I think Flacco did send him to debate with suspect, but what were they going to debate? I don't even know.
He just knows that Brandon's a good debater because he's debated with Tariq Nasheed before, and he's really formidable at that. So he brought over there to replace him because it's Flacco's birthday with his lazy ass, and he didn't want to do anything this week.
Like when Suspect came on the channel, I didn't really like know what would happen, but he definitely has basically like become kind of like the villain. You know, like when people compare it to the WWE and everything, it's like they have people who are there intentionally to be the heel.
He's a heel.
And I feel like he's kind of like put himself into that. He's like the crash out dude who's gonna fucking scream and flip out on you and do personal attacks and shit. We haven't really seen like the super negative ramifications of that besides like the Kelpie thing.
Yeah, but the cold part is I don't see where well, before this, I didn't really see where Suspect got the hate. I actually was fucking with Suspect. When I met him, he was cool. Some of his takes be cool, especially about the music. People say bullshit. He usually at least counter it, shut it down, and try to give a counter argument. He's not going to be in there being the echo chamber. Yeah. So I really don't see where the hate be coming from other than him arguing with the females now. Like he the new Sharpe 2.0 or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he's dope, is because he's like really down for an argument and he's not gonna back down and he's gonna make it super intense and passionate, which is usually like pretty good for a podcast. But then also like he just tends to take shit a little like too personal and make shit too personal. Like, you know, like the argument with Brandon quickly did not become about, you know, is it okay for him to have allegedly said the hard R or whatever. It immediately became like, you're fat, you're weird, you're a bitch. You should go outside and fight me. Like, think about that progression of like...
This escalated quickly.
You basically take it from like one little tiny speck of an argument between two black men, like something that probably doesn't really need to be the biggest, most intense argument, and then quickly gets to like, you're a bitch if you don't fight me right now.
I don't think Brandon was expecting any other reaction than, what? No, I didn't say that, bro. And that was it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, we're all kind of in the dark because we didn't see the initial seed that started it, you know?
But apparently it's like 30 seconds before the camera cut on. It was literally right before.
Would you have disciplined him or fired him if he would have did a Kelpie 2.0 on Brandon, just spit on him, took off on him, they got in there rumbling?
To be honest, yeah.
You would have let him go?
Yeah, like we let the Kelpie one go, but I feel like at that point, it's like, okay, that would make me feel like you're just too much of a liability if this is something that's going to happen multiple times.
Well, he got benched for like a month when the Kelpie thing happened.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't
even
a
few weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. He even said, because I was like, you almost got fired last time, and he corrected me. He's like, no, I did get fired. I got fired.
It was like I wasn't comfortable having him come back until we got Kelpie to sign the agreement that he wouldn't sue us, and then I was like, okay.
But
like,
knowing in that, sometimes in that environment, a lot of things stir up that way. Would you look at him for being wrong if he felt disrespected and handled it how the type of demeanor he has should handle it.
I just feel
Or
like
should he have did exactly what Brandon did?
if you're going and you're doing a podcast with somebody, you kind of like are entering into an agreement that does not include violence. Like
You can say that when your whole staff is not gang members, though, but your whole premise of the whole platform right now is gang members.
but who?
That's straight violence.
Who's the gang
Your
members?
number one.
X4
superstar.
locked up, Brick locked up,
Yeah, now.
Wack.
Now.
Wack.
But beforehand, y'all went from the SoundCloud rappers to the land of the gangbang for a long time. The
I mean,
Crips
but
been carrying
it's
no
it's
joke.
not really like intentional, honestly. It's just
GDs,
kind of like,
the BDs.
you know what it is? Is like if you're gonna do a podcast in Los Angeles and you're gonna try to find people who are deeply into the culture and know what the fuck is going on, young men in their 30s or whatever,
Gangs.
they're probably either gonna be like a gang member or super close to that culture. Like you just who like, you know, yeah, you'll find like a journalist type dude or like dudes who like very intentionally go out of their way to not associate with that at all. But, you know, it started with like AD was the first one. And then he kind of brings, you know, T-Rail around and they're gang members or whatever, close to it. And then that kind of leads to like, that in some weird way leads to me meeting Crip Mac because I'm kind of like all of a sudden in the algorithm of like seeing more gangster shit type, whatever. And then like, then Brick comes around and Brick is a Crip, but he's like tripping like more than a lot of people. And then, you know, just kind of.
But not even just the host side aspect, the interviews, because you was doing the little pumps, the XXX, rest in peace. You know what I mean? You was bringing, I want to say, more of a variety.
Yeah, now we're just
So
doing
now it's
whatever.
just straight. How many bodies you got? It looked like to me.
I mean, it's almost like because all right, I watch all the Chicago channels that just interview straight up like these are the 37th Street BDs. Like it's like super literal. Like just there's no pretense of these dudes being anything besides just a couple of gang members, you know. And it's like with us, it's like I'm usually trying to have it be somebody who's either like think about the King Pill thing. Like he's funny. He's like trying to be a fucking internet personality, you know. It's like I'm not really trying to just interview some dude because he's from a neighborhood. But if you got like a cool personality or a really
Is he funny
particularly
though?
interesting story, hell yeah, he was funny.
Nah, but his comedy, most of his comedy is about crashing out on other people within the culture, like on some gang shit. It's not really on some who's the dude on King David. Like I look at him as
Famous
more
Richard,
funny because he's not really naming nobody, but dude is naming real members, stirring up real shit in the streets. I don't really see that too much as comedy. People from the outside looking in will be like, okay, Adam back on some culture vulture, divide the
He's
man
funny
type
as
shit.
Fuck, that guy's hilarious.
I think that he's kind of like a blood representation somewhere in between the 4 Extra and Crip Mac realm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but he's a weird one because he's somebody who, according to Wack and stuff, like he was buying promo off Wack like years ago, and he was more of like a normal dude. And I think at a certain point, he looked at the game and he saw who was going viral and shit, and he decided like, oh, if I'm gonna get on, if I want people to pay attention to me, I gotta throw an extra 40% of craziness on top of my usual personality.
I don't think people would be talking about him if it wasn't for that.
Hell no, what is it to talk about?
Yeah, he's playing the game. We're all playing the game. Bro.
I mean, bros showed up with baby oil and a bag full of Tylenol that he said was Percocets. Like
yeah, that happened.
He's wilding out, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. That shit different to me. But do you feel victim to your following, to your supporters? Like, do you feel stuck with the following that you created to the point where you can't really go outside of what you do now? Because I seen you attempt to get 4 Extra to talk about some political stuff, and it just didn't go.
Yeah,
it didn't go too good. You look pretty annoyed, I would say.
Nah, I mean, I already know that's not something that he's going to necessarily be concerned with. But
Nancy
I mean,
Pelosi off the back, she tripping.
I mean, all right, it would be cool to have the kind of
back, Donald Trump.
I just thought about what you said. No, it would be cool to have the kind of fan base that would literally just watch whatever you fucking put out. But like, I don't really know almost any YouTubers who can really get away with that. Like one example, I saw Theo Vaughn doing interviews with like essential workers in the pandemic and stuff, and like truckers and shit like that. And that did kind of make me feel like, damn, I bet if I interviewed a trucker, nobody would give a fuck. But unless it was like the right trucker. If it was like Crip Mac, the trucker, that for sure. But like,
go up.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like everybody's kind of in that situation because I see big channels all the time that do interviews with people that are like total no names, and the views are like, 5% of what they average. Even like Joe Rogan has that problem. It's like, I feel like we're all kind of captured by our audience to a certain extent. But I do feel like we have like a very wide audience in a sense where we can interview a pretty wide variety of different people. But also it's like, I seen Vlad interview Alan Dershowitz, who was like, a very important lawyer on the OJ trial and all this kind of shit. And it's like, it did jack shit for views. And I was talking to him about it, and he's like, yeah, some stuff you got to just let the algorithm handle it, which is true. Like, as much as like that is a random fucking interview, it's like for the rest of his life, when he dies, whatever, people are going to look up his name and they're going to find like 50 Vlad clips of him interviewing it. So sometimes you do shit knowing it's going to be hot in the moment, and sometimes you do stuff because you think it's going to matter in the long run.
So you think it's more now where you at, like more about clout than really being authentic and really getting different things out of people? Because that's what most people go, I would believe, to when they get on your show now, is trying to catch a clout or a viral moment.
Some people do, but I mean, I don't know. It's like, sometimes we interview, the whole thing is that people are just getting smarter and realizing that they don't want to do that. Like when King Pill gets a No Jumper interview, he kind of realizes like, oh, this is my time to shine. Like if I am funny as fuck, I'm going to get a bunch of viral clips. It's going to go crazy on TikTok, whatever. He's seen the Crip Mac thing, the 4Xers thing. So, I mean, I can't blame for somebody for wanting to do that, but like everybody does it. Like I see normal people, or like from my perspective, normal people, somebody like FaZe Banks, where he did like a clip where he showed how in 5 minutes he can do 5 different clips that are like intended to get tons of attention by just like thinking off his head. Like, oh, if I do this, if I say this one goofy thing, then it's going to be worthy of being clipped and it'll get 5 million views on Twitter on one account or whatever. So, I mean, everybody's kind of knowledgeable enough at this point to be able to play the game.
But I mean, like your audience, I be reading your chat, I be reading the Reddits and shit like that. I feel like you're trapped in that content there, or the King Pill type of characters. I don't think your audience is fucking with nothing outside of that. Like if you just tried to up and just switch right now, like we can start doing intellectual content, or we gonna try to do some other content from another culture. I see them rejecting that for sure. Like if you're not a crash out at this point.
But our audience is so big that I feel like we have tons of segments to our audience. Like we just have like a consistent like community type vibe, all these people, faces working together in the same place, and like people are intrigued by that. But then at the same time, like a lot of my biggest interviews of the last year or the last 2 years or whatever, it's always going to be like just a long sit down with me and some guy having like a good conversation. Like I could look up all of our biggest interviews in the last year, and it's realistically going to be like a lot of just like intense sit downs,
You got to also look at what like the trends are on YouTube as well. Like a few years ago, debates were everything on YouTube.
Yeah, it was going crazy.
And then, so it kind of just changes. And I think that No Jumper is always going to have to try to stay on ahead of the razors.
Like in our last year, the biggest interviews are like Lil Woody, which was just like me and him sitting down. Kodak, kind of a shit show, but just me and him sitting down. Even the King Von one has done 1 million views in the last year, which is insane because that interview was from like 2020.
That's crazy.
The Von off 1700, Blockstar, fucking J-Main, Big Mike. Like it's all just like the stuff that really like people like that consistent thing of getting to see the team together talking and like little personal drama and stuff. But like, I don't know, like the long sit down interviews are kind of always the stuff that does the best for us.
Okay, so yeah, like a lot of these questions I know the answer to is common sense shit, but the viewers want to know because they assumed your channel was just a music channel.
We
So
definitely
now
started with that as the main thing.
Like he said, just whatever the algorithm is feeding at that moment, that's what we finna feed it.
I mean, I'm always down to go on different content arcs. We've done the debate type shit. We've done political streamers and stuff. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like hip hop or like just rap music and the culture surrounding it is always going to be that. That's definitely like what our fan base is most attuned to. But also, it's like one of the biggest genres online in general. And that's also the problem that is like I used to get way more like ill interviews with random YouTubers or random fucking porn stars, whatever. There's like very specific platforms for all that stuff. Like Bradley Martin. If there's a new streamer, there's a guy signed to FaZe that's like going viral or whatever, it's like Bradley Martin's going to get him before me. He's just way more tuned in to that world. So it's like there's some truth to that, but at the same time, I just feel like it's just, I don't know. That's like our specialty. Do you
still look for like new artists that's coming up, or do they already have to have a following now as the bigger you got? Because I know a lot of that before you used to do a lot of underground artists that built a little following, but was on the way to transcending. Then after, they go back and see interviews of you interviewing them before they blew up.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's like still definitely one of my favorite things to do is just get somebody early on and stuff. But also it's like, I mean, really like the number of rap stars that comes out every year seems like it kind of like is just consistently dipping lower and lower.
So
like
you basically saying that the music is trash.
there's less like stars. Like it's like every year when you look at the XXL cover, it just feels like the people on it are just less interesting or there's less like energy around it compared to like 2016, 2017, XXL covers were sick.
Yeah, well,
Like-
there's no class that's like that Uzi Vert Yachty class in
Yeah.
2016.
Which is crazy because people are already saying the XXL shit was burnt at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Nah, it was. That shit been cooked for a
yeah,
long
yeah.
time. I think social media and everybody trying to be a streamer and a podcaster and a video gamer, fuck that lane up. Rappers trying to do everything but rap now. They just
People
wanna
are just
be
less interested
Kim
in
K.
rap. You know?
But to
I don't
keep it
think
a
they
stack,
less
like,
interested in rap though.
we're still doing underground interviews a lot. You know, they're just not getting as much traction. Like I personally have interviewed Frack, Malicious China, that we did Christ Dillinger, we did fucking a bunch of dudes that are up and coming. I just did this group called Delivery Boys who rap their ass off. That's about to drop. And just that content doesn't seem to resonate, but we're still doing that. And a lot of it is for the purpose that you said, like, yeah, because when these dudes inevitably blow up, people are going to look back and No Jumper still got them first.
Is you doing it and Adam doing it? Because you know it's going to hit different if Adam doing it.
Yeah, it
than
would
you
hit
doing it.
different, but I feel like it's kind of that. I feel like getting an interview with him is more of a career benchmark. Mine is like if I get interviewed, if you interview me, it's not quite on that same level for an artist, but I could get them to a place where then someone like Adam or Ack or Vlad will see.
Or like
Right,
you,
nah, it's
you
still-
and
it's
Brick
still a
doing it
W.
together
Yeah.
and shit. I feel like when it's like a couple of our hosts together, a lot of times it could be like just as impactful as if it's just me doing it or whatever.
Yeah, like me and Flock or me and Brick.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Because then you're kind of like inserting them into that world, you know? And then, I don't know.
Okay, so what's up with you and Brick? Is all this a play? Is it scripted to keep his name in the media? Is he really throwing shots at you? I mean, I know you said he owes you money, and the fans is like, "Oh, you running content on Brick? Why not keep paying him?" Me, I got a different outlook. If you go to jail from any job you got, they ain't paying your ass. Your ass is most likely fired. So, what's your view on that?
I mean, I was a little triggered because I felt like they were talking to Sharpe behind my back and like telling him shit that they weren't saying to my face or whatever. But then me and Brick ended up having like a long conversation the other day, and I ended up sending his girl some money and shit. And like, I don't know. I mean, it is weird because it's like obviously he would like to just keep getting paid infinitely for the rest of the time, but in reality is that we're not like really in the position to be able to do that. So I'm trying to like, you know, kind of toe
Not in
the
the
line.
position as far as what? Not in the position you don't want to do it, or in the position as if you losing assets fucking with him.
No, just like that's a lot of money to be paying somebody that you're not making any money off of at a certain point, you know? So it's like I'm still trying to like help him when he's in this time of need and shit. But I did kind of like jump out the window in that video a little bit more than I probably should have, just because I felt annoyed by like that one clip of him talking about like, oh, people on the beach with their feet up on vacation or whatever, which I felt like was like kind of an obvious shot at me, even though he did kind of sweet talk me on the phone the other day and make me feel as if it wasn't about me, even though then when I thought about it more, I was
For
like,
sure
I'm
about
like, I don't know, how the fuck is
You
that
was
not
just
about
on
me?
the beach.
I was
Rick
literally
just
on
saying.
vacation at that moment.
Brick, get out tomorrow. Y'all gonna be back good.
Yeah, for sure.
Rick called into the pod earlier today,
Yeah,
chilling, making inside jokes. Like it was.
Dude, he got to pay you the money back.
I mean, I wasn't trying to get it before, so I guess I'm not really going to be pressing it now, especially since like if he gets out, like he got way bigger shit to worry about money-wise. So I'm definitely not trying to get a dude who's facing serious federal charges to be like, yo, I need that money I'll let you borrow or whatever. But I mean, I'm sure we'll figure it out at some point.
And what's up with you and Sharpe? Like, what's this beef? Like, what is this really about? Like, what's the real issue? Like, I don't really follow it too much. I just see Sharpe doing reactions, and I see you throwing darts at Sharpe, and you kind of said some crazy shit about him pimping. And
The short version of it is like Sharpe joins the platform. We're setting him up with interviews with all these like top tier OnlyFans girls and all these different chicks, and he's getting into these crazy screaming matches with him, and they're going super viral. They're getting millions of views, and he starts to believe in his head, oh, I'm that lit. And keep in mind, he also had gone pretty viral on Soft White Underbelly right before that. So he's thinking like, I'm a million view guy. I'm a huge draw. And then he starts trying to branch out. He starts doing regular interviews. All of a sudden, he's doing interviews that are getting 30K, and he's like not understanding that like this is basically like people want to see one thing from you. They want to see you trip out on chicks. And then he kind of like went in a different direction and just like stopped doing all that kind of stuff, which I was never really like a huge fan of that kind of content in the first place, but we still had a relationship. But then just randomly one night, I'm at this fucking food festival with my girl, and he just hops on stream and he starts just talking out of pocket, saying all this bullshit, talking about, oh, I could tell that Adam talks shit about me because of the way his girl looks at me. And like the reality is that my girl was looking at him crazy.
I don't know, that might not be crazy though. That might not be too crazy.
She was looking at him crazy because of the fact that she don't fuck with him, because of the fact that he had been super rude to the girls who work for Plug Talk. He had just said shit to them that she didn't appreciate because he would be drunk as fuck at like noon in the office, and he'd be trying to hit on the girls who work for us.
Recognize his pimping.
You know the girls that I'm talking about.
The nicest girls ever.
Super nice, super chill,
yeah.
not trying to put themselves, they're not used to being hit on by somebody who's this like crazy ass
And they're
fucking
not
pimp.
adult entertainers, by the way.
Exactly. They're just square ass
they're
chicks.
workers.
Yeah, but if y'all know he pimping, he gonna look at all these bitches the same way.
Right, but if you're in
He
a
ain't
workplace,
gonna put him on a
and
pedestal.
my girl don't get the pimp shit. I don't
Right.
really get it either, but I get it a little bit more than her. But like these girls don't get it, and so my girl, yeah, was she maybe looking at him weird because she don't fuck with the energy that you were giving the girls who work for us, for sure. But then like him even just going on stream and saying that shit, that caused me to come out and just start talking about why the relationship wasn't the same. Because at that point, I'm like, bro, why am I even keeping you around when you're like, running your mouth about some shit that you don't even understand? Instead of just talking to me, he just like chooses to go make content out of it. So that was basically that turned into me, Brick, Lush, and Suspect all being on the podcast together, airing out our grievances about him, which was a pretty epic episode of us.
Very cathartic for all of us.
So the only problem was he didn't come holler at you about it before the stream, because I seen you make content out of people that worked there before too, that got you some back and forths.
But
so is that kind of hypocritical though?
I wanted him, if he had an issue with me, or if he had something to say, if he wanted to say, hey, why don't your girl fuck with me? Come have that fucking conversation with me. Don't make content about it. Because if you're gonna make content like that of you guessing why my girl gave you a dirty look one time in the fucking office, it's like if that's what you're gonna do, then like I'm gonna make a fucking whole stream where I talk about how our relationship basically didn't work out. Because like that was the weird thing about Sharpe, is that pretty much everybody at No Jumper is somebody that I fuck with, that I could be around, that I can like have like an actual friendly vibe with, never mind be actual friends with. And with Sharpe, I mean, I just don't fuck with the way that he moves and the way that he talks and the fucking stupid ass shit that he says. And like, you know,
but you used to fuck with him.
But I really didn't. Anyone who knows me knows that I would never really fuck with him.
Hey, long as Kel was doing it,
Let me ask you one thing then. So, okay, because you fell out with a lot of your workers at certain points in time throughout No Jumper. Do you feel like if it doesn't make sense in your mind that they're automatically wrong, or do you look at it like, could you be the problem in a sense, even though you the boss over there?
For sure, I'm never the problem. But I mean, like,
that's crazy.
I mean, I'm sure from Sharpe's perspective, like, he doesn't like the way I handled it. For me, the original sin was you went on live stream and started talking about my girl and throwing out all your little fucking theories about why shit. But really, like, the underlying thing was that, like, you're mad because nobody's watching your content anymore, and for some reason you're not even like with it enough to like. He just needed to look in the mirror and say, "Oh, they want me to crash out on chicks. I need to curate my content to be me crashing out on chicks." But he's not like honest enough with himself, because even now he's doing interviews that are getting like no views of him just interviewing random people. Nobody wants to see you do that, and there's nothing to suggest that anybody wants to see you do that.
Was it that, or was it his views started to dip? And you look like, I might got to cut ties, but this is a good enough reason, rather than just me coming out and say, you know what, bro, this shit ain't working no more. The views is dipping. They don't want to see you yelling at the hoes. But they want to see you yelling at the hoes, but you're not.
We always had
I'm
an
going to get you
agreement.
out of here now.
Like, that was the weird thing about Sharpe, is that out the gate, he's doing interviews that are making 20 racks off YouTube from one interview because they're going so viral. And it's like, automatically, I'm kind of in the place where I got to play ball with him. And instead of like figuring out like a regular fee per interview or whatever, I was just like, all right, like we ended up coming up with like a split of him getting like a direct percentage of that content. And then at a certain point, it got to the point where like there was a clip that leaked of him on somebody's stream where he was talking about, you know, I was getting 30 bands in a month. I was getting blah, 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 like huge amounts of money because he was just putting out interviews that were killing it. And then by the end of it, he's getting like $1,500. So because that's just like the split of all of the content. And like he was super unhappy with that. And that was like really weighing on him. And he felt like, you know, all of a sudden he starts to feel like he's not getting a fair amount of money, where like before he's actually making it weird because he was like bragging to AD and CRL about how much money he was making. But to be fair, he was going super viral at that time, but he couldn't really keep it going. Whereas people like Myron gets it. Myron knows that if he gets a bunch of girls on and he ends up yelling at them, that's what's going to pay the bills that month.
But,
you know?
but Sharpe let the
Don't put that bring that goof on, nigga. Fuck that nigga. Don't bring that goofy ass fire.
You bring him up, but we see what the fuck going on with him.
but Sharpe.
He's race bait now. He's not even yelling at the bitches no more. That shit ran dry.
Yeah, exactly.
Ain't nobody really watching that.
Sharpe let the chat trick him out the position though, because people started saying you're a one-trick pony. All you do is yell at bitches. And instead of being like, I don't give a fuck, this is what's working, he tried to oscillate. All of a sudden, he's doing interviews with Travie McCoy, shit like that. And it wasn't really resonating.
But
sometimes you got to try new things. But if you said you didn't like him from the beginning, was he actually wrong for what he sensed? If that energy was that, because if you were just about to confirm it, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. If Adam liked Sharpe, he would have had him on the No Jumper show. If he liked sitting and chopping it up with him like that, to the point where me and this fool fell out and didn't fuck with each other, then he brought me back, and within a month, I'm full-time on the No Jumper show.
I feel like Sharpe was always kind of salty about that, but that's just like the reality is that like he's just a tough person for me to sit down and have a conversation with for a few hours. But like at the same time, like if me and you have a cool relationship, and then I go on a stream and I say, listen, like Viral Way, I could tell by the way his girl looks at me that he's talking shit about me. I mean, what the fuck is that? Like, to me, that's just such a lame ass way to go about talking about somebody that you have a relationship with.
But it seems like that's what the content over there is based on. Is like more controversial, more messy shit. Because y'all done content on each other that work there. Out of messages and everything. When y'all fell out, what was it about?
Well, when I fell out,
Lush did some bullshit.
Well, we fell out because
Lush did some bullshit.
We fell out because it was right when AD was Adam wanted to take AD off of the No Jumper show,
and I told him and nobody else.
You was telling the Discord and all that.
He was the
shit,
only
right?
other host. So him and T-Rell were the only other hosts that were on the Tuesday show with us. So I told them behind the scenes, this is a move I'm going to make. I feel like AD's better just doing the Wednesday show. AD agreed to it, but you could tell he was a little pissed about it. But then Lush was in like a Discord call with a few like super fans, and he basically ended up kind of giving away the play before it became public knowledge. And AD took that as like, oh, you're talking shit behind my back. I didn't see it that way. To me, it's like, of course I was going to tell Lush what I was doing with the podcast and stuff. But one of those people that was in this Discord call basically went to AD and told him shit that Lush had said on there. And I was understandable.
Was it fair though? Because AD was like, he was one of the ones in the beginning, right? That helped it go up.
But to be fair, at that point, he's doing community like 3 days a week. And he's fucking doing he's doing the Wednesday podcast on No Jumper with all them. And then he's also doing the Tuesday show. And he's admitted that he was phoning it in, that he was coming on the podcast and
checked out.
Not really saying shit, just being super like not giving to the conversation. And to me, I just felt like our time together as podcast co-hosts had really just reached the end. And like I wanted to continue the relationship. I wanted him to be able to keep doing news appearances, do the Wednesday podcast, but to be real, like his ego couldn't really like take the idea that he was being moved off the show, which that's part of the problem.
Right. But let me ask you this.
There's been so many people though where it's like me and them can have a conversation and be cool about it, but then the 20 calls they get that night from people that they know that are going to paint this as like this intolerable disrespect is going to completely change the way that they think about it.
Was it his ego, or was you seeing him start to branch off and you like, fuck that. If you ain't all the way No Jumper, you finna be all the way out?
No, because I knew him and T-Rail. Like, I never gave them a hard time about having their own streams and shit the same way that I don't give Lush or Brick or whoever like a hard time about doing their own content. It was just the fact that he was doing his own content, but because it's deeper than what I just said, because he also was like, they would like cause drama at No Jumper or whatever, and then go and do their streams and call everybody, and like all of their content was about No Jumper drama at that point. And I was a little bit annoyed because from my perspective, it's like, I'm paying you guys good. Like AD was getting paid really good, better than like any host I've ever fucking had. And I'm looking at it like, bro, like you need to be giving us your A game. Like, I don't care about you having your own stream, but if your stream is always about what's going on No Jumper, but honestly, we didn't even get to the point of having that conversation because I was thinking for months about how I was going to manage this whole transition. And then I have the conversation with him about taking him off the Tuesday show. I figured that was step one. Within 2 days, the whole fucking thing explodes because of the whole.
Yeah, but they wanted to leave anyway. That was just an excuse. That was a few months away from them.
I don't know. I didn't really follow that. I'm just thinking about like the whole Sharpe thing, and you said it was because he wouldn't make content on you, but I know for sure you made content on some of your employees. So
but I had never disrespected Sharpe before.
No. I get that, but I'm saying because I don't follow all of it, but I know for a fact in the comments they could be like, well, Adam did it to this person and that person, like the whole house phone thing where you exposed them about the tranny thing.
Well,
like
the editor did, but yeah.
It was the editor?
Well, yeah, we had gone out of our way to edit the house phone shit out of the podcast. In retrospect, we should have just not put it out in general, but the editor missed one of the instances where you could hear his name in it, so that was kind of that went badly. But like,
so it was like,
you can read her lips. Everybody put two and two together.
I think
that was purposely done.
In retrospect, I should have just not put it out because, like, in my head, it was like, if I don't put this out, she's gonna be so mad that she's gonna expose it. I should have just let the trans person. I should have just let her expose it.
Hold on. You put it out thinking that if I don't put it out, she's gonna put it out. But this your boy though. Fuck this.
But you put it out without him knowing. That was the thing probably for him.
But he lied to me and told me that he never hit.
Oh, he did. So he just admitted to it after when you brought him back on.
So what you thought putting it out was cool because he said he didn't, or like?
I mean, I kind of thought she was lying because I asked him like multiple times and he kept saying no.
So you like, long as he telling you the truth, it don't matter what the narrative.
I just kind of assumed he was telling me the truth, but I understand that it's an awkward thing to admit that to your homie who you probably think is gonna want to fucking roast you or whatever. Like that, I get it.
Guess what I did, guys?
I invited him on Plug Talk. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, if we start the trans division, it could happen. I don't even know if that's like a consistent thing or just like a one-off that he did one time. I don't know.
He said it was like an experimental phase of his life. I don't know. I don't think he'd be doing that usually.
Yeah,
I seen that. He looked like he was ready to squab that.
I mean, I was around him for years and years, and I never saw him be interested in anything besides.
Oh no, that's just a crazy thought process. I'm trying to gauge it. Of if I don't put it out, she's gonna put it out, so I'm gonna put it out.
Because she was
without telling her.
She told me that when she saw me at the Porn Awards, that the first thing that she thought in her head was, I'm gonna go viral by exposing house phone through him.
That's weak as fuck.
And so then we do the interview, and then she fucking exposes it, and I'm telling her to shut up and shit. But like, we edited a bunch of it out. We edited his name out in every single clip, but then it still got through to the world. But what I should have done is just not put it out. And then if she wants to expose it, okay, but then I don't get blamed for it.
Or if that's being your boy, you just never give her the opportunity to try to go viral off of you.
Yeah.
Go put that shit out somewhere else. Like you're supposed to protect the brand. It's the homie.
I feel like I feel like I go super out of my way to fucking avoid that shit now. Like even with this suspect thing, I feel like I was trying to cut him as much slack as possible when I'm obviously kind of siding with Brandon when I was watching the shit on stream and stuff, you know?
Well, it's funny because he had there's so many different ways to look at that thing. First of all, you're a scandalous human being.
Whoa.
And I'll tell you why.
Talk about it.
I'll tell you why.
Hold on, let's talk about it.
Let me tell you why. I'll tell you right now why you're scandalous. Because you said Brandon shouldn't have told him that he's a trained fighter.
No, don't.
Nah, we talked about that. You don't tell nobody that. You move in silence. We talk about that all the time.
How is that fucked up?
You don't.
Listen, I'm not finna tell you I'm trained so you can go grab a burner or a weapon or whatever. If it comes down to it and I gotta perform, I'm gonna perform my training. That's what the fuck I'm training for. But you don't walk around telling the world you're a black belt. Element of surprise.
Now, when you say the weapon thing, I'll give you that.
Because the convo went from catch my fade to, well, I ain't gonna let you put my hands on me. Then it went from I ain't gonna let you put my hands on me to come outside. I'm gonna show you what we do to niggas who train. So
don't you think
fuck is we talking about?
That's great.
Isn't that kind of like having a weapon on you when you're as strong as someone like Brandon fighting a mere mortal?
So why the fuck is you picking a fight?
Crazy, yeah.
No, listen.
Y'all, come on.
But you don't know who you dealing with regardless in life. So it don't matter. Now, if he trained, then it is what it is. You signed up for it at that point. And that's what anybody, you shouldn't be letting people know. You gonna let you know every time you walking around with a gun on you, I'm gonna let somebody get off on me and just tell you?
No, you're right. Okay, so here's another thing then, guys. Let me ask all of y'all this. What's different with Brandon choosing not to fight and me turning down Flacco's fade? What's the difference?
It's
Basically the same situation.
It's the same thing. It's only difference depending on who's looking at it. From a street aspect, niggas are gonna look at it like he's marked out. From a backfield, the things that he comes from, that type of culture, it takes more restraint to do what he did, knowing what he's capable of doing. So the confidence in that is why he's able to do that. Now, if people want to feel like he marked out or if he did or not, we'll know if he'd have just got off on him. And then if he don't defend himself, it's like a two-edged sword, depending who's viewing it.
Yeah, because I feel like Brandon is not nearly getting a fraction of the backlash that I did from that.
Yeah, because with Brandon, it's like once they found out his background, it was already almost 99.99% confirmed he would have destroyed suspect. Like without a doubt.
They're looking at you like maybe he's
Flacco,
a bitch. Like maybe
exactly.
he didn't want
That's kind of
You and Flacco is
neither
crazy,
one of y'all
'cause it's-
trained.
Exactly.
Then they looking at Flacco like he a buster already. Everybody hate him, so like, Lush, just go catch his face.
And not and even on top of that, I don't know why, like y'all was saying earlier, why suspect gets the vilified version over there. Like I said, when I've been over there, he been cool, he been straight, he been thorough with me. So I don't have nothing against him. And I want to bring that up next. But far as his situations, maybe with the female and the last dude that he got off on, that's why people are never gonna let you forget nothing. They're gonna feel like you need to handle every energy, every situation the same way. So if you spit on this man and whatever, y'all had an argument and you fire this shit up, they gonna look at you like, why you didn't do that to him? So that's the only difference. But niggas was trying to act like VwP finna come up there for all this and that. We need to kill that off.
What y'all was
for Brandon? Let me find out. Let's put that narrative
Why
out there.
every time something happen with Brandon, VwP get the backlash? Like these niggas finna come up here tripping. They can't come up here. What was going on?
But that's like a positive thing on y'all.
No, where's that coming from?
I mean, they see y'all with them. He's y'all homie.
Yeah, and you guys have had in recent memory a bunch of takes, where you guys are like watching shit go on other people's podcasts and then having very strong opinions about it. So it's like we already are kind of expecting that from y'all, even from shit that doesn't directly involve you. And then we see Almighty turning up on Brandon.
What doesn't directly involve us?
I'm not
saying we've been involved.
Like obviously, like the whole N-word Mexican thing, whatever. Like it directly involves you because you're black dudes. But it's like that we saw you guys kind of being the first ones to the scene with having a strong take about it, or even like the T-Rail shit with him saying the shit about Doechii or whatever, which I think you guys were 100% in the right about.
You guys are right on most of your arguments.
We're right, Liv. If you look at the root of every back and forth we've ever had, not saying we can't be wrong, but we've always been right. There's not one back and forth we had where we really started it.
And that's what you guys need to lean into, because honestly, like T-Rail, due to his low IQ, is just out here like protecting the people that he fucks with and trying to get interviews about not having strong takes about it, everybody. And then AD's trying to protect his relationships and everything. And like, that's what you got to do. If you want to be a good content creator, you got to be willing to give a piece of yourself, AKA the part of yourself that's well-liked or that is non-controversial. Like, if you want to be like, that's a big part of why Brick became such a big name, is because he was out here having takes about, like when we had Go Yayo on the other day, and he's like, man, I wasn't feeling the shit that Brick was saying about my brother when he got killed or whatever, because Brick was saying some shit about him running away from the car or whatever. And it's like, Brick's out here like really like talking like the way he talks off camera, which for most people when they get on a podcast, they're just censoring the fuck out of whatever they want to say.
Yeah, I don't really care about the hate like that. The reason we be jumping out to the forefront on most of these issues is because we know how the podcast game work. Most of the niggas out here is PC. They lie to the fans. They kiss ass because it's like, I'm not going to go against my audience because I might lose followers, I might lose revenue. We never got in the game for that. It's going to come regardless. It's like 9 billion people in the world. It's at least 1 million people that think like you. So I'm not really tripping on being a slave to my following. I feel like a lot of these niggas and a lot of these content creators are slaves to their following. They feel differently behind the scenes. I know for a fact because I talk to a lot of niggas, but they can't get in front of the camera and say it. Our platform's like, nah, we finna say what we say. If you rock with us, you rock with us. If you don't, you don't.
So where you guys at with T-Rail and them now, y'all? I mean, I know y'all went over there and shit. And
by the way, that was the gayest shit ever when he was just, he's like, that's what I had to do. If I wanted people to pay attention to y'all, my audience don't give a fuck about you. So he's acting
trying to big homie y'all. Huh?
To be honest,
I didn't like that.
I'm watching you sit there and I'm seeing like the gears turn in your brain and you're having a hard time comprehending how retarded the argument that he's trying to put forth is, where he's trying to basically be like, no, I masterminded all of this to then, like, for this moment. Like
all content.
this was all a
It's
lead
all
up
content.
to right now. And the reason why I was disrespectful to y'all is because I wanted everybody to pay attention once I finally had y'all on. Like, what? What are you talking about? No, you were just talking shit.
Aha.
Why are you lying?
See, look, first I'm gonna say shout out to T-Rail. We squashed
T-Rail
whatever
and
we
Smack.
had.
That's water under
Shout out to
that's
T-Rail
water
and
under the
Smack.
bridge.
That's water under the bridge, you
Boo.
feel me? But I will say I didn't like that whole concoction. First of all, it made no sense. Because if you're bringing someone to your platform, you want your audience to like them. So you turned your entire following against niggas and thought once we sit down, they're gonna rock with niggas. No, we still getting comments right now.
for
All
sure.
the hate doesn't come from No Jumper. We get the most love from the No Jumper audience, believe it or not. And as hard as we don't win at Adam and as hard as we don't win at No Jumper, once we came on, them niggas is DMing us every day. When y'all coming back to the news? When y'all going to talk to Adam? The Back on Fig fans, nigga, they in every comment. Fuck y'all niggas. Oranges in the chat. This the shit we don't care about. So I'm like, bro.
Hey, but it's
head on me.
hey, but it is a mixture though, because I have seen a lot of comments where people say we came here from back on Fig.
Yeah,
but we do get a lot of hate from over there
But
too.
I feel like a lot of their fans see that kind of moment, and I think that's what has like hurt his fan base is like his inability to really do like intellectual battle when it comes to ideas. Like when he watches your Dochi take and says, "Oh, y'all hate gay people," fake laugh, fake laugh.
That was crazy work.
That's just like the fans are not that dumb. Like some fans are kind of dumb, and you can fool them for a little while, but for the most part, like fans, they leave in droves as they realize that you're full of shit and that you're not really standing on business. And it's like, you know, having strong takes that other people are not willing to say is just a huge part of getting people to pay attention to you as a podcaster. Like still to this day, Academics is basically like the GOAT of hip hop content creation because he's typically the one who does the most research and learns the most about shit before he has an opinion. But then once he has his opinion, he actually puts it out there and isn't scared, even if it means fucking up relationships with people, which a lot of people just want to be able to go to the club and not have people looking at them funny. But that's not really going to get you, that's not going to endear you to the fans in the long run.
Nah, because I feel like if I got a platform and I got a huge following, anybody I co-sign and bring, the fans is automatically going to be like, okay, let me see what he's talking about. I'm rocking with him because Viral said so. Or Adam's bringing him, I'm going to rock with him because Adam said so. The whole drama shit. But in T-Rail defense.
Admitting to the idea that you staged a fake beef so that people...
No, that is crazy.
Because he has people on there all the time that I have no idea who they are, and I'm pretty sure he's not like... concocting fake beef with them.
No, I saw that. I saw that. I saw that.
Bullshit.
But that's why I told him it was the truth in a lot of them jokes. Them niggas just didn't think we was gonna come hard as we did. And then behind the scenes, like, oh shit, you know, such. So we're not just the regular goofies on the internet. So that's why it turned out the way it did.
Did he try to say
shout out to them niggas though? But he said he learned it from you though.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
He said he learned the fake plays from you. So
that's bullshit.
We gotta get to that because he said Adam taught me.
As soon as AD came on the podcast, within like a couple months, that dude Vel that I was showing you from Long Beach, like they faked a fight on air, like way before I ever faked anything.
And the fake China Mac fight. ADS
that was fake
fades, yeah.
Okay, because I was seeing the narrative saying that was fake. That was fake.
I already punched a wall to get his knuckles.
Because people feel like you had the recipe, and now that's what everybody feel like they need to follow now.
I just like in our whole time doing content, I would love to. I mean, I'm sure there's examples of times where I was like, "Yo, let's say this, let's hype this up a little bit." But like the idea that I'm like some
creating a whole
circus
narrative
ringleader, like I very rarely pre-plan anything. And I feel like if I tell, like, there's been times where I kind of told Brick, like, "Hey, you should say this or whatever," and then it just doesn't hit. Like, you know, it's hard to fake
done
emotions.
that with, like, in the 2-3 years we worked together. He's maybe done that twice with me.
So y'all don't be scripted content because to me, all that shit always looked scripted to me. I'm like, this shit got to be fake.
I damn near thought the Brandon and Suspect shit was scripted.
You did.
Because I said, because we were about to say something about it, and I'm like, nah, I don't know, cause like, and maybe because of the way he responded too. I was like,
that was so shocking to me because
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I just letting random people get on the news and they're getting into fights like this?
It's
like,
awesome.
How is this even possible?
Suspect.
Like, I don't blame people for thinking that it must be scripted because it does seem like very unlikely, but it just kind of keeps happening. I guess like Suspect is kind of the common
He's the
denominator.
wild card.
Have you ever thought about bringing Sharpe back? Because Brick's in jail, Luce is gone.
Nah.
You claim you going broke, but we kind of know what the fuck going on.
Is you going broke?
Is no jumper
All right.
going broke? What's up, cuz?
I mean, we got the Instagram back, so we're going less broke at the very least. But I mean, honestly, Suspect is not really a draw, or excuse me, Sharpe is not.
Damn.
Shout out Suspect. That was not,
Hey,
no Freudian
suspect.
slip.
Hey, alert,
for Freudian
nigga.
slip.
You better be alerted, nigga.
Suspect has proven himself as a draw.
He's
But
a
Tighten
draw.
the game up.
He's a draw.
nah,
Sus is a
like
draw.
Sharpe is not really a draw, to be totally real. And then he also, like, I don't know, I just don't fuck with him. Like, I really just dislike him a lot as a person.
That's crazy. Is it because you feel like he went overboard by saying whatever he said about your wife? That's understandable, but I believe if you brought him back, you would do some numbers right now.
Maybe for a moment, but and to be real, like before we fully like it got to the point where that probably wasn't gonna happen. He was supposed to go on the Adam and Wax show, and he told Brick, he's like, bruh, I made 15 bands off YouTube this month. I ain't going back. I'm gonna keep running this shit up. And like obviously that has kind of like ran out. Like he's doing like the same numbers that he was doing before he left now. But for a minute there, he was getting a ton of views and donations or whatever. So he was loving it. But then because like he was fully invited to come have a like that episode with Suspect. I think Suspect came in because Sharpe said that he wasn't gonna come. Like we were gonna just sit down with him.
So, is it a possibility of you and T-Rail ever squashing this? I still don't know what it's over. I just know it got personal. People talking about kicking kids and people talking about this, people talking about that. So certain lines look like it got crossed to the point where you can't go back. But is it possible? Because that's at least 1 million plus off the dribble.
I've thought about it. To be honestly, me and Lush talked about it on the way here, just like the possibility of it and everything. But I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like so satisfying watching him slowly drown due to his own hubris that I don't know. I just kind of like watching him suffer and seeing how fucking miserable he is and how lost at sea he is and how he has no idea what to do. I don't know. There is part of me that just wants to be like, listen, challenge him, be like, come on, let's do this. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want to say to you. You can say whatever you want to say to me. And maybe by the end of that, we'll be closer to cool. But I don't know, man.
Seems like y'all miss each other, kid.
Yeah, you think he really drowning, or you think this, or do y'all like feeling like, are y'all really beefing to the extent that people think? Because or do y'all make more making like right now? You know, it's gonna be content about this. But you.
It's not even like a draw anymore. Like I, at a certain point, that just stopped working because the fans aren't really like honestly don't give a fuck anymore. Like they're not really invested in whatever he and
as far as the reactions.
I think his content does the best when he talks about us. But in recent memory, anytime I've talked about them, it doesn't really move the needle. And so I don't know. That's part of why I just like don't really.
I would say for me, I would like to see y'all at least get some better representation for us up there at some point in between the bullshit. I can't tell you how to run your channel, but when I watch it, I be embarrassed for us with niggas like King Pill and niggas like that. But I get that's what your shit is based on. But every now and then, throw somebody in there who actually has a brain, who's a proper representation.
What about Flacco?
For the black culture. Come on, get the fuck out of here.
You know Flacco.
Shout out to Flacco, but that's all the way out.
Flacco's an intellectual.
Flacco more like
Flacco is not from the West
Flacco is
Coast.
not. First of all, he's not like us. But I fuck with
He
Flacco.
not
Get it
like
right.
us.
But he's not like us at all. He don't represent us. What I'm saying is, this is where the culture vulture shit comes from, right? So we used to go hard at you niggas. I know you see. I want to get.
Probably haven't really seen
I want to get your view on that too, right? Because they like, oh, how you used to go hard at him, but sit with him. Once I got there and I'm like, damn, these niggas want to come crash out. A lot of gear started to change. Like, nah, these niggas is really coming up here to do that. He's not forcing these niggas to do it.
And you
they
said
want to
that.
do this clown
You
shit.
said that when y'all came over. You were like, hey.
I'm seeing it in real
time.
time. Now I'm seeing niggas pop in and out to come crash. Like, please let me come make a fool of myself. But you have the biggest hip hop platform on the West. People make content off of your content, and they look at us and our culture based off of what's represented on your platform. So if you really fuck with the culture, you eating off the culture for sure. I'm not gonna call you a vulture per se. By definition, you would be, but you do give niggas jobs who would never ever have a job and would never ever be in the limelight, wouldn't be around celebrities, none of that shit. So I see some shit you do.
Crip Mac was on salary.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You feel me? Like,
Crip Mac, what's his name? For Extra came out from doing life on the biggest platform, salary, all that. But still saying all of that, at least for niggas like me and people who actually respect our culture, I would like to see some more positive representation over there other than just the dumbass.
I agree with that. I was kind of thinking about that with the whole Brandon thing. I'm like, you know what? I kind of like this. This guy, I need some more energy like this. That would be good. So yeah, I agree. Like, you know, sometimes it's kind of easy to lean into the super burnt out dudes and everything. But for sure, yeah, I don't think that's wrong. I think that we need to do better in terms, like, you know, honestly, like somebody, I love Van Lathan. That's somebody I would love, but you know, he's fucking high priced. He's at the Ringer. He's making hella money off them and shit. You know, it's like a lot of the people that I would want to bring in from a more intellectual standpoint are already kind of spoken for. But yeah, I'm sure there's like some good opportunities out there. Cause like for me, No Jumper is that it's most interesting when it's a mishmash of different aspects of the culture. I think that the No Jumper show was in many people's minds at its high point when it was me, AD, and fucking Lil House Phone, because they're like two totally different types of dudes from Los Angeles, you know? And it's like, I think people like seeing a super gangster dude with a hipster dude or a more intellectual dude or whatever. It's like I remember when it was DW and Brick on the No Jumper show, I got so much negativity about that because so many people were like, this is just pure Cripping all the time. Like it's a conversation about Crips and different types of Crips and every single week. And I got that because it just kind of did become that at a certain point. And I feel like No Jumper's at its best when it's like a variety of different viewpoints. And if it's too gangster, then but if you have like a gangster dude with a dude who's able to ask smart questions about that, who's maybe not from that world, a lot of times I feel like that's more interesting.
But do you feel like even with the homie that he got caught up in the way the environment is? Because he did bring Nick up there for you.
Well, Nick had been up there before that. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about when he said that Nick wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for us. But and then Nick came.
I ain't even saying all that. I'm saying, but he was an asset.
He was more of an
when
asset
he came. By him bringing them, he was trying to take a stance of showing his value and doing a different route by bringing
the thing that started all that. The first DW appearance, he came on the Adam Wack show and got blackout drunk.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Flame.
It was a little wild.
You know, Flame.
It was a good episode,
like his
but
name, you feel me?
I mean, half your hosts get up there and get blackout drunk. Or they
Blackout
high on
drunk, or they
pills,
burst out.
they on something.
Yeah.
I've never got drunk.
you get
This nigga was on the floor. Nigga, I seen you in the Reddit.
You had
They had you in Alaska in the fucking igloo on the floor.
Nah.
They put all over the world laid out.
Oh
That
my
shit was funny as hell.
Oh, you talking about with the edits?
They put her in Family Guy. I said, this
Bro,
is
you gotta
Lush.
look at my story right now.
Well, nigga,
Josh
yeah,
is
though.
passed the
That's
fuck
in
out.
Alaska.
Oh man.
They had Cuz sing with the
I was
polar bears.
throwed off. I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
know what it
crazy.
was.
And Cuz blanked out.
That's too
Because, bro, like they was giving. We were eating gummies. I don't even remember eating that shit. Like I'm already throwed off from this Jewish man's whiskey.
Yeah, that was with Rosenberg.
So let me ask you this. Why don't you bring like white crash outs up there or like poor representation of the
Send
white?
them through.
You don't count.
You don't
cuz.
even. You ain't getting no white crash.
We not
outs.
counting you, cuz. I'm
Even bringing more diverse. It's like that's why from when we see, it's more of our people that you bringing them type of questions too. Like we don't see besides that one episode I don't even care about. But other than that, we don't see, like he just said, the white crash outs or more.
You don't think I'm an embarrassment to the white race?
Even
though,
more,
low-key?
even
Like,
more white people.
That probably pisses them off. No,
I don't know if the white race even claiming you.
We
cuz.
talking about
You've
the
been in battle
white.
rap
We
for like
talking
20
about the
years.
whites.
Yeah.
The whites that's in the streets, that's doing other different things, that's doing activities or has done activities.
I tried
Jim
to
Lee?
have that fool. Yeah, he was a fun one. But
Lee?
I tried to have that fool Garrett.
Man,
who's
Jim
like,
Lee is fuck with the niggas though. That shit
Yeah.
different.
yeah, but there's this dude Garrett who used to be like a skinhead.
Garrett's a straight fucking.
Well, he was like a
Nazi.
skinhead, like gang leader when
Yeah.
he was in prison for like 10, 20 years or whatever. And I brought him on with Wack, and that episode did really good. Like people loved it, but it also was kind of like, this is a dude who, he was like on some super racist shit and he was white power or whatever, but not anymore. Like now he's super chill and he was super happy to sit down with Wack and he's completely changed his life. Like if I could find some like crazy ass Nazi dude who's like kind of on the cusp.
We ain't talking
That
about
would be
the
fun.
Nazi.
We ain't talking about no fucking
none of that.
Nazi.
Nah, we talking.
Were you
Nazi.
This is why he brought it up. All that shit.
Yeah,
And even like they said when you did that, when you brought them, whatever, what was they? Was they KKK people or whoever they
No,
were?
Richard Spencer.
But that's another
Yeah,
problem though,
yeah.
because he's like an intellectual racist.
Yeah, but intellectual racist, but it wasn't controversial. You wasn't really doing too much as you would do with our people. It wasn't like, or even bringing a black person up there to challenge him to get some.
Nobody would
pushback.
do it. I tried to get Van Lathan to do it. I tried to get a couple other people to do it. Nobody wanted
they
me
will-
to sit down with him.
When you had Fuentes,
So none of the Crips would have did that.
no, he
He
did
didn't
have
call it Crips.
He did have
Because we would have did that
Bro,
shit.
I put Nick Fuentes with AD and Flacco, and Flacco just purely glazed him the whole time.
Yeah,
Why would you
because,
put her with Flacco?
because they agree on everything.
Flacco ain't giving no push.
And
got
AD
smoked.
just AD. I mean, I'm sorry that Nick Fuentes, as much as people don't agree with his politics, he's a smart dude, and AD didn't know what the.
No, shout out to AD, but that's politics and that type of shit ain't really as bad. Because
Exactly.
Nick Fuentes, to me, he lost in himself. He a half and half anyway, preaching this super white supremacy.
He
like
Mexican.
Nigga, right, nigga,
Yeah.
they don't even fuck with you.
Yeah.
So why are you preaching for them?
I think they've forgiven him for being half Mexican, right?
Well, it's funny how many white supremacists are actually part
He
of
said
Hispanic,
He said we all need to be segregated. We don't. The whites need to be over here. Okay, nigga, you're going back over here though.
Yeah,
you're not
you-
going with the whites.
You're going to south of the border.
Nah, but
You're going that way, my.
Not even just that though. It's a million Hispanics out here, full throttle, gang banged out. I'm pretty sure they'll love to get on there.
but
Nah,
he
they
don't.
came
He
up
don't.
there
He
tripping
don't
on
relate to
already.
him.
Oh yeah, he like fuck all
See,
that.
this is the difference. The Crips allow it. They came up there tripping on 100 deep. He like, I'm not even touching that shit.
I think
no
if
more.
if the white ethno state ever does exist, they will probably be accommodating to people like Nick Fuentes, who might not have pure blood but are on the same page politically, right?
They're not fucking with Nick Fuentes.
I'm not optimistic about the white ethno state
Listen,
in the first
bro,
place. I don't think it's gonna
If
work.
we all got to line up and firing squad, Nick Fuentes is going on the wall.
Yeah, for sure.
He's going on the wall.
I can't
bro.
wait for him to reply to this.
They're not fucking with him.
Hopefully, he finds out about this.
He's a rage, but he don't. I honestly believe he don't believe 90% of the shit he say. He just knows.
That's how I feel when I watch Candace Owens. Is that she can't possibly agree with some of these takes.
Nah, Candace Owens is barred.
Candace
Owens is barred. I'm not feeling let you do this.
Yeah,
Candace
that's
Owens
out,
is barred
yeah.
up. And she. Only thing is, I be questioning how they be letting people with the platforms that big say what they say, because the ones who really, really, really push that, we know how that ends.
Yeah.
One of the chicks from the Epstein case just got suicided today.
Wait, really?
Well, and what was her name? Yeah, she
Damn,
got
they
suicided.
still-
today.
Not the
Still
main
dropping.
one.
No. She was the damn, I forget her name. What's her name?
Can't pull it up.
Damn, I gotta look into that.
She was accusing Epstein and Prince Andrew, and all of a sudden, she suicided. See, this is the type of shit you're supposed to be talking about, no jumper, because these your folks.
I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
What,
Loose ends. They
abusers?
getting rid of them loose ends.
Exactly. Because I don't believe Epstein dead, but that's just me though.
No, I mean, like, there's
I don't think Tupac did.
the whole.
This nigga bullshit.
Yeah. He like, I ain't saying nothing about my people, because homies.
Oh yeah.
Bullshit ass
Yeah,
nigga.
that's facts. Yeah.
No, but okay, so for the people that don't know, are you a Mason?
No, I don't even know what that is really.
Man, knock it the
Damn,
fuck
this
off.
nigga cap.
I
Yeah.
Because
mean, it's like
the
an
la-
organization, right? Like you have
Ain't
to
your
join
last
it.
name like Grand Mason or some shit like that?
Yeah, it's French Canadian.
Okay, and your pops got pardoned by Clinton, so he was tied in with the Democratic Party, which I didn't know until a little while ago. So I'm like, damn, okay, were you planted in the culture as an agent of chaos, or what's going on?
No, my father actually knows very little about hip hop. My whole family.
But you're tied in with the Clintons?
Okay, so my dad was a volunteer on Bill Clinton's initial presidential run because they do the primary, or at least they used to do the primary in New Hampshire. So basically, like, my dad was working on the Bill Clinton campaign, as he did for like many people throughout my whole childhood. It was just like a super normal thing that we would go and we would put up signs for whoever was the Democratic candidate. My dad was an alderman at one point. He ran to be mayor at one point. He ended up getting indicted for mail fraud because he basically also was working at this construction company, getting them jobs and everything like that.
He
And
was
then,
looking out for Clinton, wasn't he?
well, no, this is before that. Like he basically was like he was an alderman, which is like a small time figure in local government, and then he also worked for this construction company, and he was alleged to have used his position as a in local government to get more jobs for this construction company. They end up doing an investigation. Basically, they wanted my dad's boss, this guy Hal Ekman, and then my dad wasn't willing to like roll over on his boss, so he ended up getting like a year in the feds. And then Bill Clinton, on the way out, basically pardoned him and 70 other people that basically were people who had kind of done right by Bill Clinton throughout his
they looked
candidacy.
out for him. Clinton said, "Don't trip. Just take this on the chin. I'm gonna get you up out of there."
I mean, it's the same thing that Trump does now, except Trump does it in real time throughout his presidency. My dad, and really it didn't affect my dad in any way, except for the fact that he was no longer technically a felon. And I think he got his right to vote back, which
Is
I
that
think
right?
they take that away.
Well, what's up, cuz? I need to holler at your pops and Clinton and get this shit off my record.
Well, no, you have to holler at Donald Trump.
Yeah, Clinton
Now.
doesn't have the juice no
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Nah, they all tied in. They all at the parties
Yeah, you
drinking
crazy,
champagne
yeah.
and shit. Like, come on, cuz stop
Clinton is a fucking
But hey,
fossil.
He said I can't speak on no Mason activities. You see this?
But hey,
and that's part is
no,
going
no,
on.
'cause I'm
I'm not mad at you, but he's sticking to the code.
If I went,
Hey, you niggas take notes. You see how, cuz?
if I went to the Mason Wikipedia article right now and spent 20 minutes learning about it, that would be my first time doing any kind of investigation into that, because my parents and my dad was never in any kind of fraternal organization. I used to go to Elks Lodges to go to hardcore shows when I was 16. That's about it. So I don't know.
is there a possibility that there's something going on that's above my head? Because guess what? My brother, who's the CEO of Indeed, worked on that same 1992 campaign.
Really?
Bill Clinton in Los Angeles.
He is so much more tapped in with the Illuminati or potential Illuminati suspects than I am.
And
He's from out here. He's from fucking Beverly Hills. I'm
Not
from
from
Nashua,
Beverly
New
Hills.
Hampshire.
I'm from Beverly
But
Hills.
just
They all
because,
everywhere.
but just
But-
because your brother was or connected, don't mean he was as connected as his pops was.
No, it's kinda
you might not have been. He might not have been in the inner
But
circle.
they think that because my dad made movies, that my dad is a part of the Illuminati. You feel me? Like, my dad has never smoked a joint before. He is the biggest square.
The fuck they got to do with the
Do the
Illuminati?
He interviewed his dad. It was actually very.
Yeah.
I know. I saw that.
His
What-
dad talked to Malcolm X the day he died.
He did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
Right.
still blown away by
Is that
that.
right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
y'all tapped in on some other
That's
shit
fucked
behind
up.
the scenes.
MLK as well. He talked to was the only person, only member of the white media that Malcolm would allow to interview.
Your,
and
your
So
dad,
he knew all the hits was coming.
your dad is JD Vance and Malcolm X is the Pope.
no. You know, but Messiah's not wrong, because he
Hold on,
called
so he
my
knew?
dad. That last conversation he had is, they're coming for me. It's all bad. You got to get me on the news. You got to right now. They coming for me. And my dad's like, oh, they weren't CBS wasn't trying to put Malcolm X saying that on the TV.
Right.
So,
See,
yeah.
that's interesting content. Why haven't you got like y'all pops
We
together
talked
on
about-
No Jumper?
I mean,
Do
I
an
interviewed
interview.
my dad.
I mean, like on No Jumper though.
I mean, he
My
could.
dad's like deaf, damn near at this point, and I don't know. He's kind of a slow.
Adam like,
moving
deaf,
guy.
blind.
I had to go.
He didn't know he was see no evil, speak no evil.
Right?
Honestly,
My dad can't answer no questions.
I did do a podcast with my mom and my dad that I never put out just because I wanted to just have it for my records. But like when I did that, it was honestly the best conversation we'd had in years, because with the headphones right on his ears, it's like takes away the fucking deafness. So yeah, but I don't know. I don't really like.
So
to
you
involve
an
my family.
atheist too though, right?
Yep.
That's what the upside down cross shit is about.
What do the atheists mean? You believe in the devil, but you don't believe in God?
I'm Jesus K.
That's crazy.
No, we know, but like what you worship? Do
Nothing.
you be at the Bohemian Grove, with the
Baphomet.
owl and all that shit?
I'm not Alex Jones.
no higher power. Nothing.
Shout out to Alex Jones.
I found out about Bohemian Grove through Alex Jones for sure.
They say part of the Masons you can't believe in none of that, right?
I don't know. I would
Oh.
think, like, hasn't every president been a Christian, at least claimed to be a Christian?
I don't know. I know they all related.
JFK was the first Catholic president, and I think the only one actually.
Well, they wigged JFK. They got cut up out of there. Talking about get rid of the CIA. So
And then they put out the files, and it was exactly as the story had always been.
Kind of crazy.
And all these conspiracy theorists all over the world were obsessed with the JFK thing for so long. They put out all the files. Everybody realizes it happened the way the FBI said it happened.
that's
Haven't heard
Grassy knoll.
shit.
that's
Grassy
damn near
knoll.
every conspiracy though.
But now,
We like 10
now,
for 10.
see, now a lot of things make sense. If you an atheist, so you just don't believe in shit. You just believe in yourself.
I just don't believe in God or any of the other religious fables that people pretend are the root of human existence.
So where you
Right.
believe humans came from?
I don't really think about it. I guess the Big Bang or whatever seems like it's pretty well supported, but I don't really like bother myself with like,
Evolution? You believe in evolution?
hell yeah.
Uh,
Evolution right in front of our faces.
what you saying?
What do you mean?
Like what you mean?
I mean, if you look at the
You got two
animal
niggas
kingdom,
right here. You talking about evolution in front of our faces? Like
no,
what
I think
you saying?
we've all evolved from the same species.
Nah,
but I
fuck
mean, when you
that.
look at animals, it's just like, how the fuck could you not believe in
Boy, you
evolution?
talking about Lush on that
No, I'm
bullshit?
talking about, I'm talking about right in front of our faces.
I'm saying it's like if you
yeah.
go to the zoo, I feel like even if I didn't know about evolution, I feel like I would go to the zoo and be like, oh,
Step outside. Cause.
it's super easy.
Oh,
to
you
understand.
said evolution like right in our
yeah, we
faces?
not branding.
No,
we not finna
yeah,
have no
oh my
cool
God.
That is
egg.
not the implication.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
not the
We
implication.
have all
the words
evolved
widely.
the same. This is no racial eugenics conversation or anything like that. No.
Yeah. And I think it's pretty obvious that fucking the people that get burnt by the sun aren't the pinnacle of genetic superiority, obviously, right? So
I mean, we know we got the God genes. That's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying, like, for people that believe in the Big Bang Theory, like that to me, that don't make sense. Because where did the bang come from?
I just don't even. It's been
You just
so
like, I
long.
don't even give a fuck. Let me get rich and that's it.
It's just been so long since I even like read into like the Big Bang and shit. And anything like super mathematical or scientific is just not really my bag. I'm more of a culture guy.
Okay, so knowing that you were atheist, it all makes sense though. It like most of the shit makes sense now.
Everybody should be an atheist.
Nah, that's crazy to me.
A lot of people are.
What's
lying
the
to themselves.
whole
We know who you working for now.
Nah, yeah, for sure. We know where's the
who you working
You guys are working for
Yeah.
Big Jesus.
Yeah, we know what
Hey,
allegiance
I
is.
fucks with Jesus. That's my Lord and Savior.
And I believe,
Nah,
I
'cause
believe
I-
in God. That's that, and that's where it's at.
Nah.
I'm more spiritual than anything.
I be confused like with the audience that Adam ain't loyal to his employees and this and that, but it's like cuz the atheist and the businessman. So like, what do you expect if it's not business? I feel like you really don't give a fuck about
But
it.
like, who
we
have
might
I
be
been-
cool,
Who
but
have I been disloyal to? I don't even know where that. Like, obviously there was the house phone thing, which I've said it a million times, but it was an accident. It was the editor. I didn't want it to go like that. Like, I really hate and resent the way that worked out. I apologize mad times. I still have people hit me up all the time saying you need to apologize. Like I didn't apologize a million times. But the AD thing, like him and T-Rail left. Like all those dudes left.
But it's
like,
more like how can I say, even that, more egotistical. It's like if your ego gets jeopardized, you're gonna get somebody up out of there.
But who's the example of that? I'll let suspects scream on me and insult my whiteness.
Even I seen that clip of the old clip. I think UAD, what was the dude, house phone, and he was trying to confront you about it. And he was like, I'm not gonna let you keep saying whatever I'm saying before he tried to throw the cup on you. And AD was like, just let him talk. And even Lush said it, like, you don't just let people finish talking.
Well, it was like, I felt frustrated by the fact that he was saying that he thought that I intentionally put out the shit about him in the
But you didn't even
woman.
want to hear it. He was trying to get his spiel off.
Right.
You was like, fuck that.
Honestly,
You
like
ain't
I
putting
had
this
let him
narrative
talk
on
about
me.
it a lot at that point, and I was just trying to correct the record because it wasn't true.
But also, you and Phone, like, you guys have been friends for a long time, so there's like a lot of things between y'all that people weren't even aware of. I'm sure that probably like
Some little shit. I mean, honestly, like our podcast relationship was strained by that point because he was just kind of doing drugs and not really taking it serious. Like right before that, he had actually been like removed from the podcast and then had kind of started coming back around and got re-added, and then that shit happened. So it's like,
I was technically his replacement at one point.
would you say you like narcissistic in a sense? Because they say, if one person is constantly falling out with hella people, it can't be all the people.
I mean, I think
that person got to look in the mirror
as a content creator, and especially as someone who's essentially running a circus, I do think you kind of have to be narcissistic to a certain extent, but I also have to be able to like, bring in all these other people and stuff. So I also have to like force myself to be more human with a lot of the people who come on the podcast and stuff, because like, it's like you have to deal with their whims or whatever they're fucking going through if you want to keep people being happy on the podcast. But then also it's like there is a part of me where it's like ultimately, this business needs to be something that I want to do. It's like I at a certain point, like AD and like them, they'll mention the fact that I had kind of threatened to end the podcast or whatever, because there was times towards the end before everything blew up where I was so stressed out by all the bullshit and drama that these dudes were creating that it just wasn't really seeming worth it to me anymore. So, ultimately it's like,
You're going to stop the pod at one point?
well, I told them that I was thinking about stopping like all the other podcasts on the channel, just because like, you give people these positions and then at a certain point, people just start to act as if you just are they just act really entitled. Like this is just going to last forever. And it's like, you don't realize that like, if you're making my life hell through me doing all this content, that at a certain point I could just say, I don't want to do this anymore. And like, they were super offended by that. But to me, that's just obvious. And
But you create drama yourself. So to be mad that they're creating drama when they're learning this recipe from you,
I don't
also
think anybody.
if you bring us up there, then the next week bring my enemies up there, and then have a conversation about anything or and insinuate anything. Yes, you're stirring.
But that's one of
drama.
the rules of the podcast that Break Baby and 4 Extras and Crip Mag and everybody has had to figure out at a certain point is just because you're on the podcast doesn't mean we're not going to have conversations with other people that don't get along with you. And there's like stipulations. Like I'm not going to have the most nobody ass person ever, but if it's a relevant participant in the culture or whatever, like 4 Extras can't tell me not to have King Pill on when I know that King Pill is a good character to have on the podcast and an interesting interview. You know, it's like I can't. It would be super easy and smooth if I was just like, you know what, I'm fucking with the neighborhoods and I'm not fucking with anybody else, or I'm only fucking with people that they get along with. So everybody, you're not invited on the podcast unless you get along with Brick Baby.
We'd be fucked right now, right?
That'd be a short list.
It ain't even.
I wouldn't be here right now.
It ain't even about. It don't even be about that. It'd be about the type of questions that's being had. That be the main thing that people outside looking in look at.
But this
so
is
it's like for you.
That's what you have to do to make good
You guys
content.
get that.
Yeah, we all do.
No, we get that, but we not gonna ask street shit. And we seen right now a lot of things folding over just from the podcast. But I understand. No,
we don't want to ask anything that people are not.
I know
comfortable
it's
talking
up
about
to them. It's up to them to answer it. But I do get where you come from. But so now, should they really look at it as it shouldn't just be a personal relationship? It could be, like you said, it can end at any time. This is just a job. I shouldn't be looking at Adam as a friend. I shouldn't be bringing my family around them and that, because they get comfortable with you in that sense. And then if they numbers go down, you should know to be up out of here already. In this sense.
I mean, if you like are on the platform and you're just not popular with the audience or the numbers are bad or whatever, yeah, you probably should expect the same way that, like, you know, okay, people have jobs. You work at a radio station. You're going to get along with the program director and the CEO and whoever works at the radio station. But at a certain point, if the audience isn't fucking with you, your friendship is going to come to an end. Or not, the friendship doesn't need to come to an end, but it usually does once it becomes like not beneficial. The same way, you know, if you work at the Honda dealership and you're fucking selling cars and you're killing it, then you're probably going to get along great with the owner. And as soon as you can't sell a car, then at a certain point, you know, they could try to coach you into being a better car salesman, but at a certain point, if you're being paid, and that's what it sucks, because it's always that blurring of the job and the friendship. And there's a point where everything's great, but then maybe the friendship's still good and the job part starts fucking up. Either you're fucking up or the audience doesn't like you or whatever. And it's like, there's some very hard decisions that you have to make, and it always threatens the friendship. And like, even a lot of the dudes that I was friends with, like real friends coming into doing No Jumper, those friendships are long gone because I hired those people and then they weren't up to snuff. They they weren't working as hard as I wanted them to work. And I lost friends that I had for like 10, 15 years as a result of that, which sucks. And I've really, like, now I like it a lot better because most of the people who work for me in terms of like in the office are not people that I've been hanging out with for all these fucking years. They're people who actually, I tell them to do something and they do it. And then they know that if they fuck up over and over, that they're going to be gone.
See, I had a take on that. I believed people were attaching themselves more personally than they should have. So when business decisions were made, they were looking at it as if you crossing the friendship and not making a business decision. Because, yeah, this is podcasting, so it's not like a normal job, like a 9 to 5. We cool. We might go hang out at a porn party or do shit like that. I just don't understand. For me, I got a different outlook than most people. I don't understand how people can not see at the end of the day, this is still business. No matter how cool we are, it's still business. This nigga signing my check, so at the end of the day, he's still my fucking boss. So the boss really don't owe you no loyalty.
Nah, it's
if
true.
you work at a Fortune 500 company, the CEO don't give a fuck about you. He cares about the numbers.
Like,
your number dipped.
Somebody like
your ass is
Sharpe.
gone.
Sharpe was convinced that I just needed to pay him forever while he did interviews that got no views. Like, what the fuck is that? How could you possibly think that that's how this is going to work? Like, you know, and like, it just was never going to be able to work that way. And like,
is that all on Sharpe though? Because ultimately it's your platform. So if him not yelling at bitches, or he don't want to yell at bitches no more.
But that's the
and
problem.
he your employee.
Like, y'all had meetings trying to get him on track.
And that was part of the problem, is he was so impossible to deal with because A, he's always drunk by noon, and B, you start telling him what he needs to do, and he starts telling you all the things that he thinks needs to happen in order to make things change. And it's like complete deflection. None of it involves him changing or doing anything different in any way. Every single thing is, well, the girl who books the interviews ain't responding to me fast enough, and blah, blah, blah. It's just all this bullshit. And it's like that, if anything, I think that the real problem with No Jumper and the reason why there's this like narrative of me being this like bad friend or whatever is because I treat the shit so casual. I let people just get on camera and do whatever they want. I don't give them any direction. I don't, like, if you were to go to Complex, like think about when Academics and Joe Budden were on Complex. Yeah. Guaranteed that they've got a bunch of producers who are working on what is going to be discussed every day, working on what artists are going to come on, etc. But like when I gave Brick and DW nightly or shows throughout the week, like one day a week, it was just like, bro, you can do whatever you want.
Are you still in touch? Are you still in touch with Crip Mac?
hold on. Before the
It's
Crip
been a
back,
little bit.
do you think that that's kind of your fault in a sense, though?
For sure.
So
it's just too casual, yeah.
if I bring him in and I'm just letting you do whatever, no direction, and then I see your direction ain't working, now I want to give you direction 2 years later.
Exactly.
Don't you give him a little leeway of, hey, hold on, man, what the fuck? You don't know what you're talking about.
No, that's definitely.
You've been letting me do this shit all this time. So.
That's definitely part of the problem.
But Adam didn't fire Sharpe. You know what I'm saying? Sharpe chose to publicly go and crash out, and then he chose to leave.
I was letting him continue to do these shitty interviews that weren't getting any views for like way too long. Whereas like if I wasn't the person who's already like on camera 8 hours a day and super distracted, I probably would have had more of a moment where I had to be like, listen, this is not working. We gotta split, or we gotta change shit or whatever. I wish I had been like a little bit more upfront about that instead of just kind of like letting it languish until he felt the need to basically like blow it up on stream, you know?
Do you guys think you created a impossible void for a new host to come in with how y'all bigged up Brick Baby? Now, as great as Brick Baby was for your channel, nobody else is gonna be able to come in and get Brick. But what I see is no matter who y'all bring, your audience is like, these niggas is trash. They're not Brick. So at what point do you try to usher somebody in and ignore the Reddit and the chat for a while to see if the transition?
I mean, I feel like I have to avoid it. Like even someone like Brick, I feel like I had to ignore so many people for such a long time telling me that he was horrible as he slowly like developed more of a relationship with the audience. And then like by the time he got picked up by the feds, it felt like he was like really solidly like a fan favorite, right? But it's like for a long time, I felt like I was seeing so much negativity about him. And that it doesn't even surprise me that that's just kind of how this shit goes.
I thought Brick sucked at first. I even told him, I was like, you suck.
Well,
you thought Brick sucked?
At first, yeah.
He had to get a lot
like
better.
Brick number one fan.
Yeah, but I like
the Brick Blazer.
I know I didn't like him as a podcaster.
Bro, he was he was mumbling. He was like talking over everybody. He just wasn't like, it took like a bunch of like coaching and stuff. Like I was really having conversations with him off camera about like, bro, like, you got to do this. You got to like, like the interrupting is one of the biggest things that like people deal with because it's just normal to interrupt in regular conversations, and on podcasts it can be kind of debilitating. But like a lot of people, like even with Lush, like I mean, it felt like people loved Lush, and then when Lush came back, it's like he got like a good response, but then like there was kind of like a lot of hate, and now I feel like the fans are fucking with Lush. But I mean, honestly, I feel like I could bring in anybody who's like got like good on camera skills and be able to build with them and everything. I mean,
I think Lush gets the hate because of some of the conversation he's indulging in is not his world. So it's like y'all talking about gang shit with Brick, and then Lush is jumping in. We know Lush from battle rap. So niggas like, man, what the fuck Lush doing talking about some gang shit or street shit?
Lush outside, baby.
You know what I'm saying? I know, because that's what I'm saying.
Lush get the hate because he's too agreeable at times.
Sorry, I'm a nice guy. Sorry, I'm a nice guy. But
being a nice guy only goes so far as a podcast.
But yeah, no, but here's the thing. Like, as far as I think I have a somewhat of a better understanding of Adam's position than a lot of people because of battle rap. And because I'm used to being the guy that people that I'm in friendships with are trying to like get close to me because they want to leverage for their career. So I kind of see that replicating in, being a no jumper, but now it's like I'm on the other side of it. So I know how both sides of that feel. So I kind of have a little bit of empathy for him in that regard. So I try not to impose my friendship on like our working relationship. Like I'm
not even speaking on agreeing just with Adam alone. I mean people that's on the show. Yeah. So it depends on that. Yeah.
But the thing is this, like at a certain point, I'm a genuinely agreeable person, and I'm very intelligent to the point where I'm able to see things from both sides. So you can make a point. I'm intelligent enough to actually convince myself that I agree with aspects of it.
I'm not saying that. If it's a controversial stance, and say it's a controversial stance between two people, whoever that person is there, that's who you usually agree with. In a sense, I can see from both sides, but I can still give my honest opinion on what I see fit. 9 times out of 10, me outside looking in, sometimes it'll just be like, even with y'all just last situation, it was like suspect spoke. You like, yeah, that's it. Like,
well, like here's the thing, like, that might
because you didn't necessarily speak on Brandon's behalf. Like, if you were seeing it from both sides, you could be like, well, I see what it is, but suspect right, and this is what it is. Like,
and to be honest, like, there's people like Suspect aren't the easiest to talk to. You know what I mean? Like, and Sus is my dog. I love Sus, but he doesn't necessarily like to hear contradictory opinions. For me and him, like, when I'm fucking with Sus.
So if he don't like to hear, you ain't gonna say it.
No, but because, like, it's not that I'm not gonna say it, but I probably do cut him more grace than I would the average person, considering this is like a friend of mine for a long time. It's my like older homie's son.
Is it more grace because of that, or more grace because of the squabble?
Nah, because not because
They
I
really
lost
known
a fight.
each other forever.
Not because I lost a fight, but because I don't want that situation to repeat itself.
I feel that. I feel that.
It's not, but I get it. But at the same time, like, I'm not gonna alter who I am as a person for the sake of making a point. So
Nah, I'm not saying you should do that. I'm saying just outside looking in, I deal with you, so I don't look at nothing different. But I see when I see the comments and shit, that's what I mostly see.
He's glazing.
Yeah.
I know.
Hey, do you like the pod and shit more or the plug talk shit more?
Oh, they speak to very different parts of my personality because on one hand, you know, doing porn, sometimes when I just got to fuck a couple girls throughout the day, I'm like, man, this is the best. This is like, this is all I want to do. And then like, I don't know, podcasting feels like more work, but it's also like more satisfying intellectually and creatively. Whereas fucking on camera is just like, you're just being an animal. You're just doing something that like literally everybody does. You're doing it on camera. So, I mean, I feel like I obsess over No Jumper and think about it all the fucking time. And whereas the porn thing, it's like I'm just not really thinking about it that much. I'm not like thinking about how to make that business better, which sometimes I feel bad about that. But to me, like No Jumper speaks to me a lot more and I spend a lot more of my time on it.
When you gave your wife the keys to go get fucked, where did that thought come from?
It was basically like, this would be the most viral thing that we could do. Like to put it in perspective, I was trying to buy posts at a certain point off like, you know, Shade Room and fucking Spiritual Word or whatever, just promoting Plug Talk. And they wouldn't take our money because they feel like if they post anything super sexual that it might get them fucked up on Instagram. And then once we did that one scene, every single page, all these pages that wouldn't take my money before are posting about us nonstop for free because we did like the one thing that was so shocking to people that they couldn't help but pay attention. So for me, honestly, it was like a pretty easy decision in that sense because I just genuinely didn't care. Like it just didn't feel like a big deal by that point. I just know so many couples in porn that are able to, you know, coexist with doing that kind of content or whatever. So it was a little challenging and I definitely wasn't ready for the scale of the blowback that it got. But I mean, as a business person, it seemed like a pretty easy decision.
Were y'all swingers before that?
Nah, and we are not currently. Like we only do it for content. Which I've always like looked at the swinger world. Like I know a guy who him and his girl go to swinger parties. He hit me up recently, being like, "Yo, if you and your girl ever want to go, whatever," and I was just like, "Nah, like I don't."
That's a thinly veiled way of saying.
What's the difference?
I seen that.
Because one, you're doing it on camera to make money, and one, you're just going to some club and just hooking up with random people, which I can see why it would be fun, but it's definitely not like my ideal Friday night.
He just said, "But
this is my ideal Friday night, apparently."
But you didn't really need the money. And it's like the average person, like, hell no, I ain't letting my wife do that. When I seen that, I said, "Cut, don't give a fuck about nothing." At that point, y'all just got that type of relationship where like y'all more friends, and it's like you can go, even though I fuck other bitches, but you can go fuck other men.
I mean, I wouldn't say we have like the friend kind of relationship that would make it easy to do that. Honestly, it's just like, I don't know. It just didn't really feel like that big a deal. And especially in comparison, like you're saying, like you got enough money. Me and her don't look at shit like that. Like, you know, we're super cheap, both of us. And I think we both have like a vision for our lives where we're going to be able to have a bunch of kids and at some point not give a fuck about any of this shit. Now, I think I'll probably always be a content creator at the very least. Like, but I mean, with her, like she's into gardening, she's into cooking, she's into being a mom, etc. So like when she puts on her fucking Batman uniform and just goes and fucks Jason Love or whatever, it's just like, that's just like, it's just business for us. So it's like, I don't know.
How are you planning on dealing with the blowback of your kids having to deal with that? Because we in the era of the kids at school bringing up the mom's pornos in class and sending them in the group chats with the kids. Have you thought about that or you ain't thought that
No, I've definitely thought about it. I just feel like, she's going to have to deal with it at some point. I'm going to make her tough enough to understand, like, hey, people at some point are going to give you a hard time about this shit. And here's what you got to say, or here's how you're going to deal with it. And I'm sure there's going to be a time where somebody says something that hurts her feelings, just like I'm sure Kim Kardashian probably has to have that conversation with her kids. Now, granted, it's different. Fucking Ray J, fucking Jason Love is what it is. But I don't know, man. Huh?
Race and love.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like
I just don't give a fuck. Just make some money.
Yes, at the end of the day, it's about the bread, and like, it's like she can thank the fact that she goes to a nice private school and shit for the fact that
Isn't there a lot of kids whose parents are on OnlyFans right now too? You think?
I feel like it's going to be increasingly like so common.
Yeah,
it's a rise in kids suicides connected to their parents doing online content. So
I didn't know that.
I heard of that.
That's crazy.
Even regular parents, I mean, the kids still got to deal with it, but his face is way more well known than just the average motherfucker.
But that's also me now, and I feel like, realistically, me and her might not even be like anywhere near this shit in like 8 years or 6 years or whenever she starts to be like cognizant of that stuff. So that's another part of why I don't worry about it. But honestly, like I know dudes who have podcasts like outside of hip hop who have to deal with this at a certain point where they have this like existential crisis of like, oh my God, I do this sort of crass, rude, whatever content, and we tell dirty jokes on the podcast, and they start feeling, I feel like Howard Stern's almost like an example of that, where like,
look at what a square he is now.
He became a total hoe. For
Christ.
me, it's like I make adult content, even No Jumper. It's like we're smoking and we're swearing and we're talking about violence and we're talking about crazy shit on camera. It's adult content. So I will probably be having a little bit, like my kid already like understands that she's not allowed to click on the fucking No Jumper thumbnail on the TV, because this is what dad does on camera is grown up stuff. But I mean,
outside the house, they're going to do whatever the fuck they want. And you can't.
We're just trying to slow it down so that she can have a childhood and not have to be rushed into anything.
To me, like you see societies like progress and is way more open-minded to that kind of shit. I remember being in high school, and there's a lot of the high school I went to, there's a lot of kids of actors and actresses. And it was like Goldie Hawn's kid went to the school. It was like, oh, we seen your mom's tits. Da, 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 da. But it wasn't like at that time that was a huge deal. I feel like right now, not a big deal. We've all
and that's just a big deal. Like, if you go to school in the group chat, your mom is getting fucked. That's a big deal, bro. It's not a big deal to you because you doing it. But if you're the kid at school, that's a big deal.
We're about as far along that path as possible too. Like, oh, here, look at this clip of you, your dad, and another dude both nutting on your mom's face.
Yeah, that's
a conversation. That's definitely a conversation.
That's down there Sodom and Gomorrah type shit.
That's more than Goldie Hawn's shit, so I'll tell you that.
For sure. But I mean, also like my kid, like, she's got tons of our friends are in the adult industry. She knows them. My kid knows fucking Sky Bree. She talks about Sky Bree's hair. Sky Bree has such nice hair. She talks about Riley Reid like she's a normal fucking person. It's like.
And then when I saw Riley Reid pull up, I was like, wait a second. You feel me? Yeah.
I was just curious about that because I think ramifications like that don't hit until it hits. Like in our head, we might make up this scenario. Oh, it's cool till your daughter or your son is really talking about offing themselves because the kid suicide rate is crazy. Like I got a lot of friends who their kids was already talking about suicide at young ages, or they knew a friend who already killed themselves in like elementary school just behind getting talked about on Instagram or
To be
Facebook.
fair, I might want to kill myself too if I grew up in Long Beach. But anyway.
Hey, hold on, because we can squabble. Hey, we can really squabble. Like, we ain't suspect. And I heard you was taking classes from Ruckus.
I told him I'll go to jiu-jitsu class. When I was supposed to go to MMA gym with 4Extra, I was actually supposed to go to a MMA gym out here with Rampage and 4Extra, and then it got canceled at the last minute. And I have to assume it's over some gangster shit. Is
that right? So is that fight gonna get set up when 4Extra get out? The MMA fight, is that still on?
Now, did you see that dude SD that he was supposed to fight? He got knocked out last UFC or whatever. But definitely, we're working on what 4Extra's fight is going to be.
Because I think at this point he has to fight.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him.
Is it Aaron the Plumber?
That would be.
I think that's like
that would be goated. I would love to.
I seen that video of him too. He was telling you if he get on the card, you got to squabble. Who you say he got to squabble? Was it named Rooster or something?
Rooster. Ruga. Yeah, but he was calling him Rooster.
Calling him Rooster.
Yeah.
You go squabble up with it? You gonna get on the card if Aaron get on the card?
There's like a tiny part of me that wants to do it just for the insanity of it. But then also I feel like people are going to use it against me to try to like, oh, you fought this dude on camera. Why can't you fight?
Now you're in the mix with it.
Yeah, no, I don't know. There's part of me that's just like, no, you're good. Don't do it. And then there's part of me that's like, fuck it.
You got limits. You done did everything else under the sun.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. But the dudes don't even get paid that much for that shit.
What if Brandon if Brandon was the trainer? Then maybe now we're talking.
At one point, somebody was talking to me about me fighting Jason Love, and they were talking the right amount of money to.
Is that
really
real beef or is that like some for the
cool.
content? Yeah, y'all cool, huh?
Yeah, we cool.
So like all of her on the beach on vacation, all that's made up content.
That's all. Like,
I already knew.
That's all. Like one day in Miami that she was like in Miami on a content trip, and she just met up with them. Like people don't know because like she has all these like stupid reels on her Instagram or whatever. She'll book a day where she shoots like 40 reels in a day, and she has like a team that helps her put them together. So all that shit is just whatever. It's all just promotion.
Has any of them porn stars tried to shake you down? Because that's what's pretty much going on right now, like with the Shannon Sharpe shit.
No, that's just
like all these millionaires is getting shook down by the OnlyFans bitches. Right
I mean,
now.
they sign contracts. They fucking sign all this paperwork. They get tested. There's a cameraman in the room. I'm never fucking a girl without a cameraman in the room. So it would be pretty tough to get on me about some shit, given that like we run our operation so properly. But you know, I know a lot of dudes in the industry and shit who are just fucking random girls and they're doing hella drugs with them and stuff. And I look at it and I'm just like, man, like that shit could go bad so easy. But no, I'm good.
Do you think Shannon Sharpe is guilty of that, or do you believe she's trying to shake him down?
My initial reaction was, oh, this is a shakedown. And then they start dumping out all this other shit about problems that he's had with other girls in the past. Now I'm starting to be like, oh, maybe this theory has legs. But I haven't really like dug into it that deep.
I mean, it's clearly he's like into rough sex, whatever. That's the only thing he's guilty of. That ain't no motherfucking crime. He ain't do nothing wrong. You feel me?
She was begging him about the BDSM shit, right?
She put it, I mean, yeah. Once I saw the text messages.
You like he innocent.
He's 100% innocent. This is a shakedown. Period.
But what about like when I see and that's what I thought, but then I see like, oh, he was choking out a cameraman on camera on the ESPN show and he ended up settling for a couple $100 bands. Even just the idea of him offering 10 million, I'm like, bro.
But
that's why I said where he blew.
No, but hold on though. He's offering 10 million to save 100. You feel me?
I think that, but it don't matter
because
though.
she got dirt on him though. Like she might have got him doing some questionable shit.
But even if he's saving 100, regardless, he gonna have to spend money regardless now because she's still pushing for more. They want 50 out of him, and even then, his reputation would have been stronger of him not offering no money, then coming to find out not guilty.
Correct.
Versus because that stain is gonna be on him regardless.
At this point, don't give her a dime. You feel me? At this point, fuck her.
Now you offering, like you say, that people might sway like, damn, you offering her money because you guilty. Yeah.
Bruh, the $100 million deal, there's no situation whatsoever in life where a major corporation is going to have a $100 million deal on the table and not pump fake at the sound of an allegation like that. There's no fucking circumstance.
Well, they made him step down.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
he said he's going back.
But yeah, he's saying that. But it's depending on the case. It's depending on the case. If it's guilty, I don't think he's not coming back, bro.
Did they make him? Or like, here's a question.
He said he stepped down on his own.
Yeah, but is that like the polite PR way of like?
Man, you know that's the polite PR. Yeah. Go tell him you stepping down and chill with your family.
That's the friendly way of doing it. Is listen, we're gonna let you say that we didn't fire you and that you just are stepping down and you're gonna be back soon. Like that's how they let you have a soft landing.
And that gives you room to come back in case.
Yeah,
we ain't saying you did it, but this is too much to the brand. You gotta.
I just wonder, man, if it's gonna be too much for them to ever fuck with him again, which is crazy.
Even if he's innocent, the backlash might be too much.
They still gonna be clowning him on ESPN.
Y'all don't think he's dumb though for fucking with such a young chick? Like, isn't that dumb?
I don't think he dumb. I think he dumb for not having I said all them niggas is dumb at this point. Seeing how these chicks are operating, I wouldn't be fucking nobody without you signing this NDA and this contract that this is consensual. It may not got to be on camera, but bitch, you about to say everything we doing in this house. You giving me the clearance to do.
But to be
it ain't no other way around.
But Shannon Sharpe, like in his current incarnation, was not like that big a deal until last year.
I mean, he was on ESPN.
He was well known. Yeah, I'm kind of oblivious to sports shit, but like it feels
Pat
like
Williams blew him up.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like had such an explosive year that he was an obvious target.
No, that's facts. Yeah. But yeah, he out his mind for fucking with her. For one,
that's what I'm saying.
He is because you what is he 56? You almost 60. You still could have found some young pussy hot enough to where you didn't have to go that low. And even building a personal relationship with her. That's why I think he blew it.
That's the craziest part.
You could have
Sending
fucked her once and then just been done with
bro,
that.
intricate text messages.
That was
bro,
his favorite
like-
little jump off bit.
Man, fuck that
Yeah,
favor. You
but-
can't
I
be
don't blame
getting.
him. She looked
you-
good.
Okay, so what's
But it's better shit. He shouldn't have been getting attached to that.
Okay, so what's the problem? Is it she was that young, but she was legal? Like, what's the issue?
Oh, that's not her age is not an issue.
nah,
I'm
but
sure
that's
it
what
is
you
for a
said,
lot
she
of
was
people.
So young.
I don't personally give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't think he did anything wrong, but I'm saying you're opening yourself up to a lot more liability fucking with a young ass chick
Like
that.
what? Because these old bitches are trying to get paid too.
Yeah, but I mean, like, as far as being unreasonable, switching on a whim, like, plus you're entering a world, you have nothing in common with this person. That literally, you're at the height of your career, she wasn't even a twinkle in her father's eye yet.
But you have money,
It ain't-
and she likes getting fucked.
Exactly. That's what you got in common.
You
It ain't
have
about,
her
it ain't
desire
about
for
that.
money
Yeah.
and your desire for sex, and
Yeah.
those two meet in the middle.
That's the only Venn diagram overlay there.
But he wasn't trying to marry the bitch. He was trying to just be fucking her.
I'm
Sensual
infinitely
sex.
less rich than him and infinitely less famous than him, but still, like, a lot of times I look at the last 10 years of my life and I'm like, holy fuck, I'm so glad that I've been in a relationship this whole time, because I can't even imagine how much bullshit I might have landed myself in if I was still living the lifestyle that I was in before I got into this relationship of going out, getting drunk as fuck, doing coke, fucking any random girl that would let me fuck. When I think about that now as a person with some money and some status, I'm like, holy shit, I would have been fed to the fucking wolves if I had continued to leave that lifestyle.
Now, a wife would keep
Especially
you
out
out of
here.
trouble for sure.
Hell
I
yeah.
think at that status, you for sure, you got to at least have a woman. If you're going to do whatever you do on the side, is Shannon Sharpe, cool. But I think his PR would have been better had he had a wife right now.
Now them
If he was
zesty-
cheating on his bitch the whole time.
That would have been better.
I think he low key
For sure.
fucked up because I don't know how long he been dealing with her, but once them zesty, all them allegations start coming out, he had to keep something like that he can always fuck with or let
But
people
her
know that
licking
he's
his ass,
fucking
is
up.
that the zesty allegation?
You said what?
I
her
think
licking
so.
his ass?
That's the least of
No, I don't think it's
that's
licking.
the
I
least.
Yeah,
think it
nah,
might
they was
be on some
coming out-
pegging type shit.
Yo, but Wack
I didn't know
was
that.
swearing on the podcast we did the other day that he's gay or bisexual.
Shannon?
Yeah. I mean,
What's up with y'all? Y'all beefing?
no, we're good. We're weirdly good. I'm like the only person he doesn't beef with, I feel like.
Wax,
All right. So
Wax great.
how many times during the pod do you feel like Wack was just straight lying to you? Like, I just seen you repost a thing like, man, you owe me 100 bands. How often throughout the pod you like, man, this nigga Wack full of shit?
I don't know. Like, I mean, there's more times where he seems like he's full of shit and then it ends up being true. I'll say that. Is that sometimes it's not true, but sometimes he says stuff and it ends up not being true. But like, I don't know. Very rarely does it seem like he's intentionally lying. But then there's other stuff. He'll be like, oh, I was just trolling.
Yeah.
Like him saying that so-and-so was fucking Brick's girl.
Yeah.
And then he comes out, he's like, I wasn't talking about his main girl. I was talking about another girl. I'm like, okay, well.
bro,
That's like a
one
weird
point-
out right there.
There was a point where I didn't even have a girlfriend, and Wack started a rumor that AD fucked my girlfriend, and that's why
Which was awkward considering AD had been in a relationship for like 4 years at that
He
point.
had a chick.
He was like living with his girl, and then Wack is out here saying that he was fucking your girl.
by this imaginary human being that didn't exist.
Yeah.
Is he lying or is he playing the content game?
I guess, yeah, that's probably the main thing, yeah. He probably wouldn't be lying if it wasn't for the fact that he's on camera and he knows that it's going to make for good content.
I think a lot of the shit he says is so fucking true. It's too true, like damn near, and that's why people be like, "Damn, you on some police shit?" Because he's like saying shit that.
You said it's too true. What's too true?
Well, I mean, like for example, when Wack was talking about a lot of the shit going on with Brick, you feel me? He's like, "Oh, there's an indictment coming.
Big U killing someone.
Yeah, there's an AK case. Da 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 da. There's all this shit." And then Brick would be like, "Shut the fuck up," or "Da da da da." Man, you lying, you full of shit. Well, I mean, there was an indictment.
Right.
There was an AK case. These are things that Wack told us a long before they happened.
He told
Whether-
y'all this behind the scenes? Or
No, he
y'all
was saying
found
it
out
publicly on the podcast.
No, I know, but I'm saying, was that the first time y'all found out about it, or did he let you know behind the
No, he had been saying it too.
He told me something off camera the other day that he forbid me to say on camera, that when it comes out, if it is true, it is going to be one of the most explosive things in recent memory.
Is this something to do with the RICO or something totally different?
Something to do with Big U.
Mm.
I'll tell you guys, I don't give a fuck, but I'm not saying it on here.
Yeah. Let us know off cam. Yeah, because with the whole Drake flash drive, he made it seem like Drake was on the flash drive catching bodies, and then once he found out, like Drake probably know what's on there.
It was a video of Top 5 saying some crazy shit about Drake, I think.
Oh, like talking shit about Drake?
No, like talking about like how he's like down to kill someone for Drake, or maybe even suggesting that he had done stuff for Drake, I think.
Which, by the way, he said 1,000,000 times publicly, so it's not as like scandalous information as people would like to make it seem like it is.
So top 5, that's the dude that was on the video getting kicked in his ass?
Yeah.
Scene
Right?
fam, top Toronto demon fam.
Yeah. He goofy to me. But what's up with you and Joe Budden, man? What's going on with that? You, Joey, you, Drake, like what's up, cuz? You got a lot of enemies out here.
We had some on
Like
and
Drake's
off.
your enemy?
No, you meant Kendrick and Drake, right?
Nah, I thought you and Drake had an issue before.
No.
Not Drake.
That
Love's
was
like
Joe
cool,
Budden.
yeah.
Drake Love, cuz?
Yeah.
But we, me and Joe Budden, I don't know. It's like we got off on a weird foot at a certain point because I fucking basically like went on his podcast. He tried to have the whole you instigate beef conversation, whatever. I was generally considered to have won the debate. Like there was a big poll in his Reddit that said that I won the debate. He actually talked about this the other day, and he acknowledges that y'all kicked my back in when that white boy came here and blah, 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 which was kind of weird to see him like acknowledging it. But I don't know. I mean, I don't got a problem with him. I fuck with him. I look up to him in a lot of ways as a broadcaster. I think he's definitely one of the best on-camera personalities in hip-hop. His business is super on point. So I don't know. Like,
So y'all really cool.
So when Joe was going in on you, that was bullshit.
He kind of like clowned me a little bit for the going broke narrative thing, whatever. But I mean, he didn't really like jump out the window like the way he could have. I feel like at a certain point we could definitely reconcile. Like I don't think it's as deep as like him and Vlad where they were at each other's throats for like 15 years.
No, that was serious fuck.
Yeah. They pieced it up, but I
They
feel like,
rented him with the Louis store and they made
Yeah.
I don't think Joe's in the business of beefing right now. So, I mean, so all of that is not as serious as it seems on the camera because I seen you respond. I seen him talk about you going broke.
at one point we were going off on each other. But yeah, I mean,
See, I don't be believing none of this content shit, cuz like I'm really asking most of this shit I don't really
but it's
necessarily care about. The fans want to know about because they really believe this shit. The fans really be watching
for me, it's
and
like
really be believing.
I'll be like real passionate about something and really mad at somebody and really barking on somebody, but then like, you know, you fast forward 6 months and you have a conversation with it like this, like what we're having right now, and it's like, do I really care? Not really. Do I fucking respect him at the end of the day? Yes. So it's like I was heated in the moment going back and forth with him. Is it a little bit for content when I'm screaming into my phone or going on a crazy podcast rant? Like, yeah, for sure. If like I really wanted to, if I didn't care about content, I probably wouldn't have had that conversation. I would have left it alone or whatever. But you know, you gotta play ball with the big dogs if you want to be a big dog. So
Yeah, because they blaming you for niggas going to jail. And I'm like, well, if niggas was already committing crimes that they were getting investigated for, like I'm lost there.
I can see why people would think that, but all it takes is like a cursory level of research to see that this was nothing.
like Brick's case is all shit that was before he even worked at No Jumper for the most part. And then the Loose thing, like, you know, yeah, they had some clips of things that Luce talked about with the extortion and the robberies and stuff like that. But it's like, if you watch that episode back, I'm sitting there in awe, like trying to figure out, like, are you lying? Like, what are you fucking talking about? So it's like, you know, I couldn't have led Luce into that conversation because I didn't even know he was going to say any of that stuff.
Nah, because he said some crazy shit on DJ Academics too. He
Exactly.
broke the whole shit down play for play that really happened.
And I seen that, and it was like way worse than what I was saying to Luce. You know, like he was really, because he hates Meek Mill. So he's like really guiding Luce through talking about extorting Meek Mill and everything, you know? Which to me, he's talking about extorting Meek Mill, and I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Like, but Ack was loving it because he hates Meek.
Yeah, up 50 bands right now.
Shit.
Where your artist is gone.
It is hard to believe.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, I guess so. Was Loose Cannon on the payroll? I'm still confused, or was he just coming through Wack?
He came 2 times with Wack, and then one other time he did a solo interview, I believe, and then he did that stream with Brick that was the night before they got picked up. So it's like he appeared on the podcast a couple times. He never got paid or anything.
Is Crip Mac coming back to the platform when he gets out, or is that
for sure? Yeah, I mean, if I get my way, yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know if he's gonna have some crazy deal somewhere else or whatever, but I definitely want to be in the conversation about where he's gonna go and what he's gonna do. So for sure, yeah, that would be, obviously people would be dying to see us all together.
And if Brick, by some miraculous decision, Wade beats this case, is he coming back? Because I just see somebody who was that 600 saying that the Fed said he can't come back.
That was Sharpe saying.
Yeah,
Sharpe. Yeah, that was Sharpe.
Such a false
See, I don't be
narrative.
following this shit like
he
that.
just be smoking cigarettes and making shit up. He's just talking.
So he never talked to Brick about that, and then he said the feds stopping him from coming back. And
I don't know.
to me, that didn't make sense. How the fuck can the feds tell you can't podcast?
Me and Brick didn't actually talk about that specific thing. I don't think. Why would the cops say that?
They
want you to incriminate yourself in anything, right?
Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
But I mean, I will say that when Brick called in today and we had a good minute and a half, and I damn near forgot bro was locked up. Like it made me sad. It was like the three of us talking and we're making jokes and shit. I was like, and it felt like bro was here for a second, and then this call is being recorded. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Have you ever talked to him about getting a battle rap segment?
Yeah,
that's how we started.
I think that you back in the fans' grace.
Well, yeah. Matter of fact, I filmed a whole battle rap event. We're getting ready to drop it. You feel me? On No Jumper. So,
is that right?
Yeah.
But the way we started was him and Disaster had a show called God Tier that was supposed to be them sort of doing battle rap content every week, and then it didn't really work out. But then Lush ended up kind of embedding himself in and just appearing on a shitload of shows and just kind of stuck around. Even after that, it kind of run its course.
The fans fucked with me. You feel me? That's what it was, because
that's how I found out about you. Battle rap.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, a lot of people. But now it's at the point where I'm damn near more famous for No Jumper than battle rap. It's it's weird.
You think so?
Damn near. Yeah, on an overall fame, I get recognized everywhere I go. I was already getting recognized and stuff, but it's more being on this.
It makes sense because you're hitting a different market.
It does feel like they're two such separate markets that don't overlap that much. It's very strange.
Yeah, I'm kind of which has been beneficial for me that I've cast such a wide net, but then it's sometimes hard to because I bring in people from so many different subsections. It's hard to compartment. It's hard to keep all those fans in the same place.
So is this your league? You a league owner now, or y'all had some type of?
I mean, I technically still own Grind Time GTX, but I'm not actively trying to throw events, but within the context of trying to bridge the gap and bring more hip hop over to No Jumper, yeah. So one of my homies had put up some dough, brought Chess out from the Bronx, and we, shot some dope battles, and No Jumper. Hopefully the fans like it. We'll see how the audience reacts to it.
Hey, shout out to Chess, man. Hell yeah,
Chess
shout out
crazy.
to Chess. You got any more events coming up? Because I want to pop out to one of the events. I keep seeing you throw the motherfuckers. I got to make one.
Y'all got to slide next time. Me and Geechee talking about doing some motion. Actually, me and Cali Plug talking about doing some shit probably with Geechee as well. So, yeah.
And that Drake birthday battle rap thing that I went to, you weren't at that, right?
No.
That's the one battle rap event that you didn't go to.
Here's the craziest part about that. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I lied and I told Disaster that I already had a show on No Jumper.
So you manifested this.
I manifested the motherfucker because my appearance on No Jumper is so crazy, and I'm not trying to make this all about me. But what happened was, do you remember the initial meeting I had with you?
I remember looking at you and you were wearing a crazy ass outfit and just thinking what the fuck is this?
I had a DJ Screw shirt on. It was a screwed up click shirt. It was it was a vintage screwed up click. It had Big Mo Screw. It was a dope.
Yeah. We had a meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was for my partner who worked for King of the Dot, the Battle Rap League, and he's having a meeting with Josh and Adam. He's like, "You want to come to a meeting with me and No Jumper?" I'm like,
"Oh yeah, that."
Fuck yeah! I've been trying to There had been 1,000 tweets bring Lush on No Jumper. Lush on. I don't even think bro knew who I was.
Oh, this was the first time you got hired.
Yeah.
This is off camera. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go over it, we do a meeting, and I can tell the meeting's not going anywhere. I'm not trying to side bus on the homies meeting, but I can tell Adam's not fucking.
Adam wouldn't.
He was doing mad business jargon and weird just super tech VC convo.
Send the variables to the occidental of the wobble.
I'm sitting there just listening to him, trying to think am I just dumb as fuck that I don't really
the fingerprints of the equator? What the fuck is he saying?
I'm just thinking am I just stupid that I don't really understand what this guy's saying?
Smoking a backwood in this little space, and I'm sitting there, and then there's a moment of silence, and I'm like,
so I'm Lush.
I'm no that a DJ in Hustle and Flow, I'm in my mode all of a sudden, my beat come on, and I'm like, you know what y'all need to do? A show about battle rap. Y'all should have me be the motherfucking host. But the interview or the meeting ended nothing was defined. There was no agreement came to. I was like, yo, Adam, can we take a flick? So me and Adam take a flick. I post the flick. I say, no raisins in the potato salad. That's my caption, right? You feel me? Everybody think that I have a No Jumper interview because of that picture. But I never did. They're like, oh, when's the interview? Let's on No Jumper. And I'm like, oh, just chill.
Did you ever have like a regular interview?
I've never had a No Jumper.
That's funny.
This day.
There's been a lot of examples like that. Like fucking House Phone never had an interview. Oh wait, no, he did. But like T-Rail didn't have an interview.
We talked about it, but at this point, there's no fucking point. It's just a regular podcast with us.
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
point. But anyway, long story short, Diz didn't know that I really didn't have it. I told this fool, like, hey, I got a podcast. Adam greenlit it. And then I was with a bitch in Philly at the time. My bitch was from Philly. So I'm out there and I'm having FOMO because Drake throwing this huge battle event. The whole culture is there except for me. I'm the only person in battle rap not there because I'm in Philly and I'm pissed. And then I see Adam's there and I'm like, fuck. I really hope Adam doesn't run into disaster. Because that's gonna make my lie's gonna get exposed. And then Adam sees disaster. He goes up to you and he's like, "Yo, Adam, what's up? Yo, I just want to say I love what you're doing with Lush. That shit's dope."
So he thought you had the events there.
Yeah. But then Adam's response is, "Oh yeah, for sure." He has no clue what the fuck he's talking about.
I'm just like,
yeah.
I just remember like talking to so many people that day that for sure by the time I saw Disaster, it was like, yeah, for sure.
Damn, you didn't know Disaster? That's crazy.
No, I know.
Diz already had
but like
he didn't know what he was
like, I'm
talking
glad
about.
you're doing.
Oh, you didn't
with
really
Lush.
give a fuck what he was talking
I
about.
probably didn't even remember the name.
Yeah,
Lush.
you probably didn't know who I was.
I was probably just like,
you?
yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
okay.
I probably thought
Yeah.
he was talking about the bath bomb store.
Some other shit, exactly. Like he didn't know. So, but then like we wound up actually through that, it created us having a show.
All right. So this
Yeah.
is before y'all was even close like that.
I low-key,
I didn't know
I
about
accidentally flu flammed No Jumper into a show.
There it is.
I thought you been No Jumper long before that.
Nah, this is 2022. This all happened 2022.
Damn, you wasn't No Jumper before?
I just made such an indelible imprint on the platform that you just feel like that.
He was.
I don't even remember seeing Cut there because I was
He
there.
was just popping
I
on
thought
to
you was in the
everybody's
beginning.
shows for a while. Like he would just be around kind of, and like people would be doing like, oh, we're doing this podcast. Lush, you should come on. And like he kind of just people got used to him. Yeah.
Now the Drake event was lit. I don't remember seeing you there though. Where the fuck
Oh
you
yeah,
was
we
at?
did a vlog there.
Is that right?
Yep.
Damn, okay. Yeah, that's what's up.
My one and only battle rap experience.
We're gonna
You
bring
don't fuck
Adam
with battle
back.
rap?
We're gonna bring him back outside of something.
It's more just like, I don't know, just going to an event, standing around for 10 hours, listening to motherfuckers make punchlines over and over. Definitely don't really see myself doing a ton of it. I respect it. I would rather like watch, like I can watch a battle for 20, 30 minutes and that's fucking sick. Going to the battle itself for me just felt like too much of a good thing.
No, it is brutal. Just standing up for hours.
It's an
and
endurance
waiting in
test.
You think I
line.
got these calf muscles, baby?
So what's the future? What's the future of No Jumper, man? We finna get out of here in a minute. Like I said, I hope the fans, I hope y'all got the answer to y'all questions. Like I said, a lot of the questions to me was asinine. I already knew the answer to. I don't know why they want
That's
you.
good
I
question,
believe they
bro.
just,
Good.
one of the
What the
fans
fuck
just
is
told
you
me
talking? You
straight,
asked
no,
good questions.
no, a lot of shit I honestly didn't care about because I already knew. It's like, bro, it's common sense as an adult.
The captive to audience question. Well, I was like, ooh, okay, viral way, you in your bag.
You said the what?
When you said the captive, or do you feel like you're?
No, I feel like majority.
That's a good question, bro.
I feel like majority of content creators feel that way.
yeah.
For sure. Once you get into it, and I see that with like, especially people in the political landscape, is that like, you know, if you gain a following from shitting on Trump, you basically are forced to keep shitting on Trump or other opinions that align with people that want to see you hate on Trump. You know, it's like I see it all the fucking time where like, you know, the people during the pandemic who built their audience off questioning vaccines or, you know, revealing secret information about COVID, they're kind of fucked. They kind of like have to do that or stuff that appeals to that audience forever. And they can't really just be like, oh, I just want to, like, the dream is to be able to do whatever the fuck you want on camera, but very few people are afforded that by their audience.
Yeah, that's why we do so many different topics because they try to box us in with that red pill shit. And I knew that wasn't going to be a forever thing.
Yeah.
It was cool when it was hot. Now the political shit was hot. Now everybody's doing the rage bait shit, and that's going to die out. It's going to be something else. So I think maybe Sharpe saw the future. Like the red pill shit wasn't going to last. It was cool during COVID.
Oh, that's what happened.
I'm just saying, maybe Cuz he saw ahead, like, you know, this shit ain't gonna be cracking for me.
He should have done that shit.
Cause you
No
low
cap.
key
He should've done that
looked
shit.
at as a lame if you still doing that right now. I think by the general audience, they looking at it like, all right, man, you still yelling at bitches at this point?
I mean, I feel like all those people had to navigate towards like actual politics. You know, like Myron can't just like sit at a table with 15 girls for the rest of his life. There I go mentioning Myron again, but he can't, like, now he's pivoted to like, oh, I have actual opinions or conspiracy theories about Israel and about whatever.
Why are we listening to pussy from guys that didn't get it until they were in their 20s?
No, that's fact.
I don't know. Myron, I agreed with him with most of the shit he said about, you know, the red pill shit, the females. He was actually dropping bars, but once he got into the rage bait shit, calling niggas monkeys and all that, that's when I'm like, fuck this nigga.
Yeah, like the thing with me, like when all that
it's
shit
like, nigga, you from Sudan. It's like, y'all damn near black. Like, what the fuck, nigga?
When
like,
all that shit was cracking off, I was just looking at it like, damn, like that shit probably would have appealed to me so much if I was like 18. But unfortunately, I'm like older and have been in a relationship for a long time. And I don't really understand like why people want to have conversations about dating nonstop over and over and over. Like, so that always was kind of boring.
I'm just glad that when our age group, when we were in our like rebellious stage,
that we didn't have an Andrew Tate.
Yeah, exactly. Thank God, bro, because it would have been highly influential. Like,
yeah.
I'm glad that we all kind of at that moment were leaning left because that's like the right side of history to be on for that.
You don't fuck with Andrew Tate?
I don't have anything against him, but
no, I don't fuck with him.
Nah, what you got against Cuz?
Nothing. I'm just not like super into his. I don't find myself wanting to watch.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Andrew
I don't watch
Tate
it
like
but...
that. Yeah, just kind of like.
No, I mean like,
okay,
what do you,
bro? Andrew Tate, she's kind of a fag. Like,
he might be a little weird. He might be a little Shannon Sharpe.
Y'all niggas crazy.
Toes,
yeah.
You know?
I think.
No, I'm just saying, like, which one of his points do you disagree with? Just the women shit, or just in general?
I mean, the fact that there's just like this sex trafficker trying to like talk to men about how they should treat women. I don't know, dude.
Is
But
he
a lot of
sex
that got
trafficker,
debunked.
He's not a sex trafficker?
Nah, he had a webcam business and like OnlyFans.
Okay, you're right.
That ain't sex
that is a
trafficking.
bit. You're right. That's a bit of an extreme word to use, and I think that. So I don't want to put myself in that category, but I just think that a lot of his content, you could pretty much know what he's going to say before he even says it. It's really just derivative. You know, he's just saying the same shit over and over again. He's don't trust bitches, don't respect bitches. Bitches are here to serve us. Like, I mean, okay.
I don't think that was his
Save
message.
some pussy for the rest of us, bro.
See, I don't think you re-listen to his shit because a lot of his
Break
shit
it
he
down.
say is true. A lot of the shit that he says is true when he's not trolling. Because a lot of the stuff he says is like satire to get you to listen to
I get
the actual truth. Sort of like a Charleston White, even though Charleston, I feel he be going over the line with some shit. But if you actually listen to some of his messages, you're like, damn, this nigga is actually spitting when he's not doing the clown shit.
No, y'all not fucking with Charleston.
No. What I'm saying is the problem. No, I know. I see. The problem is when you just only try to drop knowledge or spit, nobody gives a fuck. So
Yeah.
like, you have to mix some type of edgy something in there for them to listen. I feel that's
But what's
what
like a cool
Tate-
message that Andrew Tate has said that you learned something from?
The whole message about masculinity, make men men again. The whole message about destroying the feminist movement.
Men's rights activism is a little bit cringe.
It's really not though.
not.
If you really pay attention to what's going on in society.
If he's telling your kid to make money, get in the gym, you know what I mean, be smart and do certain things, you think that's cringe?
No, everything you just said, but I feel like there's so many other things that come with that. You know what I mean?
With what? Because if you look at the state of the average male in society, first of all, they're already attacking the testosterone with the chemicals in the food and the water, so the testosterone levels are way down. But if you look and compare them to men in the past and how society was much more in order with the family structure and just everything, the women wasn't as outrageous, all of that ties into the messages that dudes like him preach. And with the red pill, the problem is you had dudes like Myron and them getting money. And they're like, well, fuck it, we just gonna exploit this. Let's just keep bringing OnlyFans models in. And that's what gave the red pill shit a bad rap. But if you actually look to the core of the red pill, it's like, how could you be a man and disagree with this shit?
No, I do think like preserving masculinity is important. You know what I mean? Like the feminization or forced feminization of men is bunk. I agree. But at a certain point, I feel like that winds up turning off a lot of people to the message when you have approaches like that. You know what I mean? So like the important details, the meat and potatoes wind up getting lost in the sauce.
No, I know. That's why he does the satire shit, though.
Maybe I'm going to give...
Just like Diddy. They say Diddy is sex trafficking. How is he sex trafficking? He really got hit with the man law.
I think Diddy's about to beat his case.
I think he's
Straight
about
the
to
fuck
beat it
up.
too.
He's about to beat his case.
Because if I tell a female that's in another state, hey, I'm having a mansion party, and she's a sex worker, and I fly her in for the purpose of having sex, how is that trafficking?
Well, also, like, strictly from a legal perspective, if the number one piece of evidence that this whole entire case is hinging upon is this Cassie footage, and now that's inadmissible evidence because CNN supposedly doesn't have the unaltered version anymore, your case is out the fucking window.
But they said even on the tape, she was willingly doing
It
everything.
don't matter. That tape is.
Now he's saying that what he's saying.
No, I'm
What
saying
they
it wouldn't
he's
have
saying,
mattered anyway.
he's saying what they use as evidence is not clear evidence no more.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right about the other part about her being, what is it, aggressive or whatever. Like, she was into it supposedly. But even the shit that looked bad of him firing on her, they can't use that no more. That's the number one piece of evidence they had. Their case is fucked.
No, yeah, I didn't.
Case
I
is
didn't believe Diddy was guilty from the jump, and I'm just like, everybody harping on Diddy. What about this motherfucker from Nickelodeon? What about
Yeah, get him the
dude,
fuck out of here.
Abercrombie and Fitch? Like,
Yeah, get
nobody
the-
talks about that shit.
Nickelodeon dude was touching on Drake and Josh and all that. Yeah, you feel me?
You think Cut got to Drake?
Probably. I'm just
Drake
saying.
gonna fuck you up.
No, Drake and Josh. That was a show on Nickelodeon.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Drake.
Yeah,
Drake.
no,
Okay, I didn't catch that.
I didn't
one.
mean Drake and Josh Manhart.
Yeah, I thought you was talking about Josh. I'm like, damn. Hey, where, you should have brought your boy. I want to ask her some questions too.
Oh, suspect?
Nah, suspect. I ain't worried about suspect. Suspect, cool. Remo.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to holler at Remo.
See me and Remo.
I'll send him here.
Yeah, I want to holler at Remo.
Send Remo to Long Beach.
Because a lot of the people wanted to know what does Cud do for real. Like, what is?
He does a lot, honestly.
No, that's why I'm asking.
I mean,
The narrative is Cud don't do shit.
no, he like helps me with the outline for almost every interview. He like does the topics for like the news, the WAG show, the Tuesday show. Does a lot of like artist relations, just DMing artists, working on getting interviews, just coming up with ideas for interviews. Like helps with social media. Honestly, kind of has become definitely like one of the most important employees over the past couple of years. And he was somebody that I just kind of, I don't know.
You worked for Flacco or you worked with Flacco?
He was
first,
working
right?
for free for Flacco,
Yeah.
just helping him with social media and
All right,
shit.
so
and
Flacco brought him in.
He did.
but he didn't even intentionally bring him in. He was just somehow like he was posting on Flacco's page. I started following him. We started talking, and I was like around the time that those dudes left the channel, like I just kind of like told him like, bro, just move out here. I need somebody to help me with this shit, and he moved out, and it's been good.
Okay, so he's more behind the scenes guy than actually.
It wasn't planned at all that he was gonna like be on interviews with me, but like he did one, and I was just like, bro, honestly, like I think you just added a lot to it. Like we should just keep doing it like that. And so, to me, he's like a fucking super important part of the business. You know,
Remo's a research monster, bro. Like he,
Right.
yeah,
Honestly,
he's so fucking good.
I don't really
like,
get how the fuck he does it so fast. Like a lot of times I've thought like, man, he got to be using AI for this shit. But then the questions will be like too good that I'm like, I don't know how the fuck you can
He's
get
like
the AI.
human Chat GPT, damn near, bro. Like it's crazy.
I haven't
Like,
watched a lot of his interviews outside of the Chicago stuff. I just know he was heavy on the Chicago shit.
People get on my ass about asking super fed questions, but Remo is one person that like I don't even want to bring up some of the times that he's asked people stuff on camera where they just look at him like, bruh.
Nah, he do be asking some wild
Yo.
shit. That's why they be calling him a cop or whatever.
Hey, that one clip where you had the yellow shirt on, like, and you was talking about you
We said,
just
no,
dumped
for
17
sure.
slugs,
So
dude.
he asked Q50, he just said like, and I noticed that Vlad asked the exact same question in the exact same way they said it, but he asked Q50 like, so were you there when Lil Jeff got killed? Keep in mind that like Lil Jeff
Yeah.
basically like pulled up to their ops
Yeah.
house and hopped out with a fucking gun and started shooting shit up.
So he's basically like, were you a part of this crime?
But
Well,
the reason why I'm saying that is because if you look at the footage,
The video, yes.
it's
Yeah.
like, you know, it's
He's
kind of, I mean, I don't know, but it's like him asking him that. And like, I almost kind of missed it in the moment. Like I was sitting there thinking like, wait, did you really just ask him that? But like, I don't know. Like,
isn't that good podcasting though?
I mean, shit, you can ask whatever you want. Yeah. But
I mean, yeah, see, it's I just view shit differently. Like, I know we gonna catch hell. Y'all didn't get on Adam's ass, but it's like, I don't see what y'all see. Adam's not from the fucking streets. He's not gonna live by the street code. So I don't understand why niggas be wanting podcaster that's not from the streets to live by the street code and honor the streets. It's like, I'm at the point where I don't understand that.
if Q50 had said, hey, that question was crazy, you can cut that out, we said, yep, 100%.
You would've cut it?
Of course.
Okay, I was
Especially when it's
I was under the impression y'all never
no,
cut
no.
nothing.
Because
Cut a
think
lot of
about that
shit,
situation.
though. Is that right?
If he had said, or if anybody asked me to cut something out that could get them implicated in a lawsuit or a criminal case, then by all means, because it's like I do want to maintain a cool relationship with people. And if,
Ain't all your shit live though?
no,
The interviews are never
No,
live.
interviews are never live?
very rarely, once in a while.
Okay. Well, that was well, before we go, because I was curious, before you brought us over and we used to be on y'all about everything. Well, not everything, but the little shit y'all did with the homie. We used to be bashing y'all like, man, Adam on bullshit, this, that, and the third. How you felt about that?
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
I still don't really care. Yeah, honestly, people talk about me all the time. It's just not my business.
Oh, okay. Because I was under the impression that Brick was like sending y'all shit.
Brick, I don't
I
know.
don't think Brick knows.
No, he didn't. To
With
be honest,
the whole Long Beach.
I was
narrative.
pushing. Me and Flacco were both pushing for you guys for a long time. Like in our group chat, I said Viral Way and LBC Messiah hella times, and then like it just nobody was really. It was falling on deaf ears. And then when Flacco was doing the news thing, like,
I just that old saying, "What people say about me is none of my business." I try to always like kind of remind myself of that. Because like I see videos about myself all the time that have like 1 million views about me, and I'm just like, I'm not watching that shit. I don't care.
Do you actually like that though? Like as free promotion when people talking shit about you, making the videos, the documentaries, and
I just don't even think about it. I mean, I guess on one hand, yeah, it's cool to know that you're, I guess, important enough that people want to make these fucking videos about you. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like it's probably bad for my mental health to just do it. Like, I just don't even want to like take that in. Cause I don't go home after doing No Jumper shit. And like, I'm not dying to watch more No Jumper related shit. Usually I would rather watch like some TV show or something about poker or something about politics or something my other interests, even though I do obviously end up watching a ton of stuff that relates to our universe and hip hop and shit like that. But generally speaking, you know, I just don't really like think that much about what other people are saying about me on other platforms, unless like when I'm streaming by myself and I see on the sidebar like, oh, this fucking video about me that's got 700,000 views from last week that I haven't watched yet, and I'm kind of like, well, shit, if I fucking watch that and react to that, then at least I'm getting something out of it because I'm entertaining these viewers I got right now, and I could clip it and put it out or whatever. It's like they're not going to say anything that I'm like super upset about. Like there's nothing that they could really say that's going to like, you know, blow my fucking socks off, you know?
yeah. I mean, there's been those videos about me for years too, and it's like the good ones are sometimes entertaining or whatever, and like the bad ones, it's like cool. Who gives a fuck at the end of the day? Like, yeah, it's just I'm more in your algorithm, and the fact that someone has to put that much thought into a smear
Doing the
campaign.
reaction.
Yeah, it's like, damn, I really occupy
comments
that
don't fuck
much
with
real
you?
estate. They used to. Not no more. Like I like not at all, fool. Like I welcome that shit. I'm cool with all feedback, good, bad, ugly. I don't give a fuck. I had to come to a place where I just removed myself from it.
Nah, because you know some people gonna troll just to troll.
Yeah.
Like, is y'all chat gonna remain members chats only, or is this like some trial shit? Cause I see a lot of y'all following mad as hell. Like, man, we watching this shit to troll. At least let us troll.
Like I like to switch it in and out so that we're kind of like incentivizing the members. Like I feel like if we're gonna do a 3-hour stream, let's do like regular chat for the first hour and then switch to members only after that or some shit like that. I feel like having it just members only, like especially at the point we're at now where it's like we do have like a decent number of members, but it could be more. I don't know. I feel like I see both sides of it, but I think like, you know, I like that model. If we're gonna be on live for 3 hours, let's do it.
Or is that to test that just to get another way to open up the money bag?
Yeah, it's just another way to because if you have like with Joe Budden allegedly makes many hundreds of thousands of dollars every month from Patreon. So I mean that basically gives him the freedom to run his business however the fuck he wants to do it, and he don't have to get a viral guest every week. He just has to make content that his audience is gonna fuck with, that they're gonna keep wanting to spend the $5-10 a month, whatever it is. So like that gives you a ton of freedom as a content creator. Whereas if you look at somebody like, you know, who just does interviews, it's like you basically are just depending on the fucking who you can get that month, you know? And I don't know, like I really like, I think most of the people who are successful long run, like Vlad has a lot of members. Vlad makes like a very significant amount of money.
Flag into the bag.
You know, and like, you know, his shit is super interview based, but he's able to, you know, have this nice steady stream of income that probably could take care of most of his employees and stuff just off the members and stuff. So for us, I feel like, you know, it's an important thing to emphasize. Obviously, it's not going to like completely come together overnight, but like we were doing the music stream earlier, and there was 2 dudes in it gifting 50 members back and forth, just like kind of like at war,
Trying
like
to flex to like making it rain in the club type
which
shit.
I was like, whoa,
Yeah,
that's.
Because I be looking at y'all chat.
I've never
it seems
seen
like
that.
the members, they more into the conversations y'all have, and then when you go to the free chat, like niggas just there to just troll and be like,
No,
Yeah,
oh
it's
y'all,
way-
you,
yeah.
you niggas is trash.
When it's
And
members
I'm like,
only,
God
you
damn,
can almost
cuz.
you'd be shocked if you see something really negative,
100%.
because it's like, why are you fucking paying $5 a month if you hate us?
And it's like, look, from a business perspective, why leave money on the table? It's an easy call to have a membership tier. And from a consumer perspective, if you really care about something and you want to see them continue to operate, shoot a little fever. What's
And
the big
I
deal?
see so many
I don't
people
think
emphasizing it now, whereas like I felt like it wasn't normal for a long time. Like Twitch has way more of a member culture, like people just buy that shit way more aggressively on there. But I feel like everybody's kind of emphasizing it because it's like if you just are making money off AdSense, it's kind of tough.
Because in Twitch, they only count like your subscribers if they're paid, right? Like you just
Well, you have followers and
yeah,
subscribers.
but
and
the
they just-
subscribers is
yeah.
all that really matters, though. Like,
Well, I mean, followers are like people that'll probably tune in or get the notification when you go live or whatever. But
yeah, but
it's definitely just like if you can get it, you
Was
see.
y'all making more money before this new YouTube check system where AI is damn near catching everything? You can't say certain words, can't curse the first 30 seconds and all this other stuff.
Before the adpocalypse, which took place in like 2017, like there was just to demonstrate how drastic it was. Like I was basically on the grind doing as many interviews as I could, and then also like filming a vlog every day at the store. And that was basically my purpose in life was like go to the store, film the crazy ass fans that were coming through, the weird shit that was happening on Melrose, whatever. And every day I'm making a vlog, and every day I'm doing as many interviews as I can. And I think like our biggest months from just AdSense were like 40, 50 grand a month. And then overnight it went to like $4 grand a month. So like we had like a 90% fall off. I went from thinking like, this is the greatest thing ever, I'm on top of the world, to like, what the fuck am I going to do? But that was actually the exact moment where I realized like, I got to start streaming people's music. I got to start doing merch. I got to start, just figuring out like more revenue streams, because this one could just get yanked out from under you. And a lot of creators have dealt with that. So like that, it was a terrible thing to have to deal with, like just having like all this shit that I had worked for kind of just ripped away. But it also really like made the business probably better in the long run.
Okay.
ain't that funny?
Look, before we get out of here, last question. What's going on with the Yuri lawsuit? You able to talk about that, or is that what's going on with that? Was that the reason the whole I'm going broke shit happened, or?
No, I mean, it's not that serious, but definitely it is a drain having to deal with a lawsuit that realistically is probably going to cost you a couple $100 grand, and it's bullshit, and it's not really rooted in reality at all. But I don't know. I mean, it's like,
What is he even suing y'all for?
they're claiming that they were terminated unfairly, that they weren't given warning, or that they were fired with malice, which is bullshit. We had nothing against them the entire time that they worked there. His girl got fired basically just because all those dudes left. Like when AD and T-Rail and everybody left, it was like, wow, we have so much less work to do, and we have like a bunch of people working at the office. I think we fired or laid off like 4 editors, her, who was basically like an assistant, and like a couple other people all at the same time. Like we ended up having to fire like 8 people because they basically, were just not needed at that point because the business just wasn't producing content like it was. And so they're
And
basically,
he stayed working there after she was.
he had actually been fired like way before that, if you remember, but then he stayed on doing like the news and
Yeah, he
shit
was
like
still
that.
around.
Yeah. So I
Couldn't have
don't
been
know.
that mad, right?
Was that when Gina Views got fired and all that? She was in that.
She's another
whole
one.
bag?
She kind of got laid off at that time because we just literally didn't have anything for her to do. Like it was like her whole thing was like she had to help with the social media and be in the office filming and all this other stuff like for the story or whatever. And it already kind of like wasn't really working out with her just because there wasn't that. We just had too many employees at one point. Like, but then I don't know. Like the Yuri thing, honestly, is 100% just a cash grab. They're just like he thought that when he left No Jumper that he was going to stream and have this big audience. He's basically fucked. He ain't like there's like almost no audience at this point, and he fell out with House Phone and
Yeah, all his
Blasey.
homies hate him.
All the dudes.
Yeah, I
that,
know.
all these
Yeah,
homies hate
I'm just figuring
Yeah.
all this out. I just found out who Yuri was like maybe
Yeah.
like a week ago.
Yeah, he
sorry, you
fell
had to
out with everybody
learn about
in
him.
his life. It's just I'm the only one that got the bag that he feels like, oh, I could fucking just sue this guy, and it's super scummy. And I feel like his fans even like get it and they understand what a piece of shit he is. But I ain't rolling over. I'm fucking going to war. I don't give a fuck.
So it ain't no reconciliation with.
Hell no, never.
That shit is over with.
Never. No, he's a piece of shit.
He got bigger fish to fry right now.
He got way worse shit to deal with because
Right.
His homie's exposing his asshole right now.
See, I don't know. I'm gonna go home and read the Reddits and shit because I don't know what the
Bro.
fuck going on with him.
his ex
About to get
homies,
booked.
his ex homie's girl is exposing that she allegedly has certain medical procedures and
And allegedly it wasn't necessarily something that stemmed from, I don't know.
Hold on, what?
I don't know.
Was she had a snip tuck? Like what?
nah, the thing where you make the baby go
Somebody
away.
shot
and-
the club up. Night could have not been him.
Oh,
and all that.
but
damn,
that's being
okay.
like exposed by this dude that he was best friends with for years and
The
years.
dude
and
that
years.
was with him trying to defend him when Big Bad Lush Uno was answering his fade request, you feel me, and popped up at his
yeah.
And then
Lush pulled up on him.
Superman.
Oh, Lush, you pulled up for the fade or what?
I mean,
Let me find out, cuz. Lush out here tripping.
he was good. It's not a big deal.
Nah, for sure. This was a cool one, man. Good looking for coming through.
Yeah, man. T-Row wouldn't pull up, but I would. But we
ain't gonna
pulled
let
up.
that
We
shit
support
die.
people trying to make something out of themselves. We ain't big-headed like certain people.
Oh, gang, he was waiting for that one.
You know you finna get on your head for that. Yeah.
Hey, we support black businesses.
Yeah. Talk about it. Now, we business for everybody. 'Cause I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, green, orange, purple. If you stand on the truth, you stand on moral integrity principles, you viral gang. You feel me? That's what it is. There ain't no color lines over here.
I like that.
Real
Hey, look,
shit.
y'all go run up when your battle finna drop.
Shit, we got a gang of shit coming. Like shit, probably this week.
Lush capping. But it's good. The battle coming when Lush let it go out.
Y'all run Lush shit up.
It's not 100%. We gonna see what it. You feel me? But yeah, watch that.
Hey man, next time you gotta bring some of the plug talk bitches, man. We need to you know what I mean? We need to have a little Varway plug talk collab.
I heard you guys saying that with Brandon. Like,
On the
oh
hood.
man, you were walking past titties before you got into that fight.
How could you get mad?
Hey, that's what I'm saying. 'Cause
Titties? How could you get mad? I
it ain't never no titties out when we pull up. I'm like, what the fuck?
It was that one time we came, they was taking pictures. I'm saying
yeah?
before you did your little thing.
Oh, he had the little Mexican joints out there, huh? Yeah. Adam has some shit out there. Adam be having some shit, girl.
Some fine shit.
Love a good.
Nah, Adam be having some shit. You ain't trying to get on there?
Me and my girl.
Working on his bod.
Me and my girl are down to like fuck each other on camera.
Nah, I mean like with the plug talk bitches.
I got a girlfriend. I don't think she'd be too psyched on that.
Even doing content, regular content.
Oh no, I've done content like with the like I was in the 20v1 with Adriana Chechnik and all that. That was fire. I watched all my bitch fired on me. You feel me? Like that was not tight.
That's
Your girl
love.
be brutalizing your ass.
Yeah, but like you feel me? Like
Domestic violence going on.
That's real
Lush
love.
over there, Lush like getting beat on, man.
hell
We
no.
find out.
I'm like super aggressive. But here's the thing.
I'm super aggressive.
I'll say this. Her love language is like if she wasn't tripping, that's when I would have to work.
That's when you were.
Yeah.
That's abuse, bro. But I
In case you didn't know, my nigga.
feel you. I
That ain't
understand
real love.
what you're saying, but I'll get you. Yeah.
This is a new thing that Latina chicks are doing. They're making you wear their little fucking labubu and
Hold
like,
on, what?
What's a labubu?
She got you
Hey,
wearing.
she got the
Is that like
what's the
Delulu?
little iPhone thing? She got an air tag in that motherfucker. Dumbass nigga.
This is terrifying.
She making you wear that? They ain't gonna make you look crazy.
Hey,
with
come
it.
walk around with the air tag on. You said you
tag.
was where?
Crazy.
the cutest hair tag ever, right?
That's so the game.
Hell no.
She's in her
pull it.
30s.
You've been
She's in
doing
her
it.
30s.
Hey, to all the females, because I know a couple
What, I
of
look like
females
Shannon
that want to
Sharpe?
do the porn. How do they get in touch with you to do the plug talk shit, or do you be scouting?
Shoot me a DM. Honestly, I will look at you. Just don't be posting like hella fake ass photos. A lot of times I'll be looking at that shit, and the girls like got a crazy filter on everything. They smoothing everything out. And I'm like, how the fuck could I possibly make a decision about if I think you got a future in this game when your pictures are all like meant to mislead men?
Right.
I've seen
Once you
you
see
get
him in
that.
Look,
person,
Adam
they
getting
the
his
real
red pill
thing.
bag.
Yeah.
Talking about he hated. Look, you know, yeah, for sure.
Nah,
I feel
that's
bad
fact.
for guys that don't know how to tell when the photo that they're looking at has been worked on.
Most
extreme
photos
extent.
always got something in them where you can tell it's tweaked.
You gotta look at like the
Yeah,
thumb or
yeah.
something. It'd be like extra big by the hip or something like that.
Because my girl will show me how she does it, and she doesn't do it as crazy as other girls do it, but she'll be like, watch, like bing, makes her ass
Yeah, but-
a little bit bigger.
Nah,
She
that's
looks how
facts.
she looks.
Yeah, but she could do it so much worse, and a lot of girls do. A lot of girls are jumping out the window.
Because you can see some, they flatten the stomachs, they do all type of crazy shit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I've seen, there's been girls before that he showed me or I've seen, and then like when they come
Come in
through,
real life.
it's a
They
little
don't
bit
look
different.
shit like
It's
that.
a little bit different. I ain't gonna lie.
But the porn girls, to be fair, are the ones who like kind of have to be the real deal. Like I feel like a lot of the Mariah Millses and like the girls who like look really good in a bodysuit or a skirt, and then like you see them in real life, like they don't have to be naked on camera.
Right.
So that ass can look all fucked up in real life or whatever. But like, you know, like the porn girls, they gotta really be naked. So it's like their pictures can't be that misleading. I feel
Yeah, like I damn near know what Pinky smells like. I've seen her so many times. You feel me? Like
Yo, I DM'd her.
the goat.
This nigga
You want,
crazy.
you want the
East Oakland.
y'all
Pinky
want?
ain't Pinky no
I'm finna
more,
say
bro.
yeah.
Shout
Y'all
out
want
to
the new
Pinky,
Pinky?
that's a legend.
I want to be a part of history.
Hey, guess what?
You would do it just because?
Yeah.
I think everybody would at this point. Like,
Pinky?
knock down Pinky.
Nah,
like,
Pinky go crazy.
it's
That's
Pinky.
why.
cuz. It's still Pinky.
She doing tricks on it, bro. 360s. You feel me?
Pinky
Like
turned into thumb now.
yeah,
Fucking OG chicks is still like I fuck Misty Stone.
legend,
That's old school.
legend.
Like Cherokee the ass or something.
Yeah.
Cherokee, that man. You
I really
you have
want
to
to
come
fuck
prepared.
Sarah J.
Yeah, that's the.
They got all the memes.
She
about
kind of
her.
looked like Hulk Hogan a little bit.
Nah, you
No,
fuck
I don't
Sarah
know.
J, you
Sorry.
down.
Hulkamania.
bad,
Sarah J
cuz.
fell off.
Yeah,
That's
you
what you
fuck Sarah
posted,
J.
huh?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm Yeah, hell, she
Yeah.
like Hulk Hogan.
I'ma go
or
She
something.
do look like Hulk, right?
Yeah, she-
I'm gonna go
worked out.
Hulkamania in that pussy.
Hit it like
Do y'all,
oh,
do
yeah,
y'all
like
prefer
Macho
the
Man.
natural chicks or the BBL joints?
Shit, realistically, BBL probably. Yeah.
That right?
I'm born and raised in LA. We have fake titties and ass my whole life. I mean, fake titties for real. But
I mean,
Don't say your whole life. Dude.
Yeah, no, yeah.
we had
BBL just
real-
got
that's why I
cracking.
say fake titties for real.
I love like a
I
natural
hate fake
chick,
titties
but
because this
man.
feel nasty.
So if you got a natural ass in the BBL the same size, you want the BBL?
But the real sweet spot is the natural ass or the BBL that looks so good that it's like almost like you can't tell. You know?
Could a human make a female as fine as like with a body that looked like SZA? Could that come naturally? I don't think so.
but see,
Because
the,
I mean, she's like perfect.
To be
the
fair, she
BBL
was
bodies
fucking
don't
King
look
Phil.
good to me.
That is true.
She was what?
She was fucking King.
Oh yeah,
That's what he
nigga-
said.
That's why he.
I mean, how can you not be hot if you were getting picked down by King
Get the
Phil
fuck
Yeah.
out
when you were
of here.
15?
Nah, but
exactly.
it is females that got real natural bodies that's fire like that.
That look like SZA.
what y'all might
Better,
What y'all
better.
might need to go do is go start scouting outside of the U.S. and all that.
Is
Yeah.
Flo Milli natural?
I don't know who Flo Milli is.
Man, look
Oh,
at her in
shit.
a minute.
But to me, the BBL bodies don't really look good because the belly button always look weird. You can always tell if you look at the hip and the stomach area. You can always tell when it's BBL
get past
versus
the
the
belly.
gym.
A fucked up BBL is an eyesore,
Yeah.
but like a really, really good one. Like a lot of the hottest chicks I know who do porn and shit are like, they got a BBL that's just.
Look at Lotto, bro.
It is something that
Lotto.
it
Lotto's
is.
a good
Hold on, let me look a lot.
Nah,
Look at Lotto.
Lotto got a nice one.
Is that
know,
it?
cuz.
She too
Lotto had cheeks when she came in the game though, but some
bro, she's so
the
bad.
worst ones is when the thighs don't match. That be the biggest problem. Yeah.
BBLs are for girls who have a little bit of
Yes.
thighs so that it looks right sitting on there. Like those are the girls where the BBL looks really, really good is the ones who have like when somebody like Asian dog gets a BBL. I could have told you it wasn't a great idea even before because it's just
Yeah.
like you're too skinny. You got to either like gain 50 pounds and then get it or just don't do it.
Some of the BBLs look cool, but why you fucking them? The ass don't move like a natural ass. Like the whole
true.
cheek move is not like water.
I like the
don't
waves.
that.
I miss the
Yeah,
waves.
it don't be
I
no
need the
water.
waves.
It just be the whole left cheek move, then the whole right cheek move. Like I need that wave, cuz.
Yeah, but Lotto, I think that I could get past it.
Lotto, you get past
I
that
get past the
just
way.
cause.
We'll make some waves.
A lot of times, like the doggy style is how a girl looks the best, but a lot of girls who have really crazy BBLs is once they're doggy style, then it kind of just like falls to the side and it doesn't.
It's just flat.
It doesn't
Yeah.
look good from the position where normally every girl looks really good, which is kind of shocking.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled, huh? Jesus.
For real.
Man,
All right, I gotta take a piss.
Yeah, we
Wrap
finna
this
get up out of here, man. Y'all share, like, subscribe to the channel. Run us up. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Shout out to Adam for coming. Shout out to Lush. Y'all already know the deal. Viral Gang. We couldn't make it 4 hours like Adam be doing niggas, but we made it 2.5, cuz. Good looking for popping
Are
out.
insane.
On
East
babies.
23rd
On babies.
Street.
On babies.
Bang.
Ain't no handouts, I did it from the ground up. In the streets, thugging hardest when they found us. Got a problem, nigga, watch my troopers mount up. My bitches bang too, and you a lame though. You niggas ain't outside, yeah, we came through. You want your lights up, we put you on the shade.